and welcome to the seventh and last Tales of Ubersreik, where this time everybody's good friend Gerhardt finally gets to hear whatever it was that was set up all the way back at Tales of Ubersreik #1 when he split with Almenowith. And you went in your own separate directions.
Yep.
You were with Brynn, the Castellan, the man who is responsible for the defences of Newfoundland Castle. He's not responsible for all BlackRock. That instead is your aunt, Hild. But less said about her, the better. You barely ever saw her growing up. You and she walked in very different circles. Whenever matters came up that needed to be resolved, it was your brother that was turned to, not you.
Out of curiosity.
Yes.
Hild. Now, when the Voxhaller was called and the vote put in for dearest old dad to be moved in on, and everybody kicked out of Ubersreik.
Yes.
There was an Ubersreikian representative,
There was.
right? And that was me uncle. Theoretically. That is Hild that side, different uncle. Dunkle. Got it. All right, lovely stuff. Excellent.
Yeah, there is very little chance she would have left Ubersreik, not, in her case, Newfoundland. She almost never leaves BlackRock as a whole. And you presume that she's the one who's responsible for organising all the defences that are being built and that you passed by on your way up here. She is, after all, the one who is responsible for the defence of BlackRock in general. Brynn. Brynn is tall, broad and bearded and can't help but smile even when he's a little bit on the downside. He's one of those chaps who just always has a bit of a grin on his face, and it's his job to make sure that this place is defended. He works a lot, or at least did in the past, with your grandmother. Your grandmother, who pretty much claims Newfoundland as her own. She creeps around through the corridors, pretty much ruling this particular roost. So you can imagine your father is delighted to have been driven back here from BlackRock. He will almost certainly be in a jovial mood. You're very much looking forward to see him. It will be marvellous.
Excellent. All right.
So, Brynn, now, as I recall, Brynn had said something along the lines of, we can discuss what happened in Black Powder Week with that elf as you moved off in your own directions.
Yeah.
And you were looking at that elf with a very much, yes, we will.
Yeah.
So
conversation need to be had.
Let's pick up there. We're making our way down the corridor, and Brynn is rubbing his hands together with a smile on his face, saying, "It is so very good to see you again. I mean, now that we've got rid of the help, very good to see you again."
Excellent. No, it's Brynn. I must apologise because you caught me a little bit off then, and I might have been a bit ruder than I anticipated to yourself. Just pressures and stress.
I can't imagine you ever being rude, my lord.
Well, I was. So
thank you for saying
so. I do apologise. But no. This has been good, I suppose, overall.
Really?
Well, no, that's a lie. It's been.
So why do you look like you've spent at least 4 weeks in a ring with a bear? If you don't mind me asking.
Do you mean this?
I was not even referring to that. I mean the pale face, the haggard eyes.
Well,
have you looked in a mirror recently?
Not properly, no.
You haven't even shaved yet.
Well, I thought it was coming along nicely. If I'm going to be honest, is it not? Do you not approve? Bit too thin. It's a bit thin. It's fine.
I would follow the recommendation of your dearly departed grandfather to your father. Don't grow a bloody beard until you can grow a bloody beard, young man. He said something like that.
Right, yes, no, fair enough. All right, well, I'll have a shave then. I've got...
You might get a moustache out of that.
No, I'm not really...
No.
It's all or nothing, I feel.
Yeah, he says, one day you'll be here.
Well, exactly. So we'll let it all tie in. But no, this, actually, interestingly enough, I got during quite a scrap. If I must.
You got in a scrap.
Yes, I've actually.
Are you sure that wasn't a slip of the knife?
No. Well, originally, no. It would be difficult to describe that to you in the reasoning why it's here. A fight is ultimately.
Yeah, all right. And what were you fighting? Was it? Let me guess. 3 guesses.
Okay.
3 guesses.
You're
Guess
never going to get it.
Cat.
No.
Come on.
No,
Cat.
absolutely not.
You sure?
Positive.
I mean,
well, similar to a cat, sure.
All right. Dog. Nah, a dog wouldn't give a scratch like that. You were chasing a cat and stumbled upon your own blade.
No. That's guess number 2, though. Sort of getting closer, weirdly.
He arcs off to the right, and you know that he's heading through the main part of the town there and is heading up towards the Hiletha wing. 2 main wings, the Hiletha wing down one side, which is where normally your mother, grandmother, and father would be found. Guests would be over in the other wing off towards the other side. So it looks like you're being taken up to see the family.
Yeah, well, it's to be expected.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
So, number 3.
Yes.
He looks you up and down. He says, all right. It was a dragon.
Right, well, we've really gone sort of either end of the spectrum there.
Yeah.
No, so I actually got this during a fight with, well, some strange beasts. They were sort of dogs, well, wolves actually, made from flesh, but huge. The size of a horse. Well, no, not even that. Shy a horse. You know, sort of in terms of height, to the shoulder. And horrible beasts, actually. They
like a woodland dray. He pops his hand right
Yes. But that sort of height.
You were facing off one of those?
Yes, and, well, technically, I stopped one of them. Well, no, I stopped the one that we were fighting. I suppose you could say that I won that day, theoretically.
Theoretically, is far away from actually.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know how when you were teaching me the blade and everything, and obviously I was pretty awful.
Yes. Your brother, by the way, he's coming on quite well.
Well, yes, I'm sure he is.
Oh, really? It's been years, Gerhardt. Get over it.
Well, look, fine. Doesn't matter. Anyway, we were there in a sepulchre or an underground
crypt.
Yes, thing. And
what were you doing? You're supposed to be in university, boy.
Well, look at me. Obviously, I've not been in university, and I'm here.
You've lost a lot of weight, I'll admit.
Yes. Well, suffice to say, I flicked, using my rapier, a chain that would, I think, just negate all animation of dead beings onto that of this hugely undead
He just stopped.
Beast.
Do continue. I'm now actually fascinated. Wait a minute. We have to do something important. Hold that. He says, we're going this way. Takes you off down side route, down another one, and into a small pub.
What?
He says, sit down. If you're telling war stories, you need to be in a pub. It's just how it's done. And he calls over. And then call over. Oh, Brynn! Who are you with? He says, with the very best. He says, now.
All right, good.
Bring it over. I want 2 bottles of... And he looks at you. It's going to be red wine for you, isn't it? It's red wine. Red wine,
No, Brynn, not today. No. No, I won't actually. Just a light beer for me for now.
Right, a beer, please. He says, and I'll have the cognac from the back. My one. Thank you. Just takes it. Now he's going to need a stein. Bring it over. Yeah, that one. Perfect.
All right.
Pops it down in front of you.
Thank
If
you.
you're going to do it, you have to do it properly. And he says, to the stag.
Yes, to the stag.
Really unnecessary. You haven't grown up at all, have you?
Well, you know, it adds a little bit of flair to things.
So, war story.
So that's that. And
You
during
put a chain on some creature and then
Yes.
held it in place somehow.
Yes.
And then what happened?
Well, it negated whatever magic that was animating it. And then I basically had to put Father Leopold's
Where was this?
guts back up into him and sort of tie him up a little bit. It was really quite horrific. This was...
Is that the orphan boy that you
Yes,
play
yes,
with?
my friend.
Huh. Right. He's not dead.
No, he's a Sigma right through and through now.
Well, that little tearaway.
Yes.
Never.
Full priest. It's actually
A priest.
It's actually quite annoying.
But he used to steal from us all the time.
I didn't know that.
Well, mostly food.
Right. Well, kind of
You helped
forgiven.
him.
Well, yes. Well, I didn't realize he was stealing. I just thought it was mine.
Well, yes. That's a nice try.
Was it not mine?
I think we discussed on more than one occasion.
Anyway, so that's that. I've also, and this one will knock your socks off.
No. My socks are already knocked off, assuming that what you're saying isn't some story. Which
no, it's not.
Why would it be?
No.
So do continue on.
I mean, look at me. This is ridiculous. This hat, for one. I've actually managed to slay, I suppose, out in the wilds, two mutants. This is before the edict, I should say.
2 mutants?
Yes.
Before the edict? Oh, God, the edict.
Yes. So 100%.
Well, it doesn't apply here.
Well, no, of course not.
Edict. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
Yes, quite.
Were you in Altdorf when that was passed? You're not sure you heard about it when you were on the road?
Well, first off, I was in Altdorf based upon the response of it happening. If that makes sense.
I imagine it didn't go down privately well.
No, well, it didn't help. Have you, with all these trots around, have you seen Absalom around?
I haven't, but I believe it might be over in Ulster. Right, so, quick piece of geography. The World's Edge Mountains are the largest mountains in the Old World, and they are somewhat equivalent of mighty Himalayan peaks. The Grey Mountains are not actually that much smaller. They are big mountains, and that is what frames Newfoundland, pardon me, at the back. Now, one of the spurs breaks Black Rock in two. And on one side, you've got BlackRock Mine.
Yep.
And you've got Altstad just further down. Is this Altstad? This is where I've got the name wrong off the top of my head.
Altberg?
Altberg, that's the one.
Nice.
I said Altstad before. Apologies to anyone watching. It was Altberg. I think I said Altstad when I was in Alameda West one. But Altberg. And then down to the station and Flussburg. On the other side, you've got the wending route that makes its way up towards Newfoundland Castle.
Cool.
And they're almost a separate territory. And in the past, BlackRock has had multiple titles split up between it. Newfoundland title on one side, which currently your grandmother actually holds. She is the Burgravin of Newfoundland. And over on the other side, it's down through the centuries, gone through a variety of different names, but currently there is no one associated with that side. It's just all part of your father's land.
Right.
But it is almost on another world because you have to go all the way down and all the way back up again. Yeah, quite. So they're about as far away as he says. Boys over there, absolute monster from what we can tell. He's anger problems.
No, very much so. Well, I saw him in Altdorf during that time.
He was in Altdorf. He returned about, my latest news was about a week ago. So if he was in Altdorf.
Is that possible? Just on the top?
Easily
I know
possible.
I've done it.
Yeah, easily possible.
Yeah.
Given your numbers and all your routes and where you've gone, yeah, possible. Because you went all the way down to Broken Half and stayed there for a few days and then came across. He could have easily just gone straight down not long after.
Fine. Yes, no, saw him there and also Zeneca.
Call comes out. Oh, Brynn! It says busy! Oh, right, okay.
Which was, I mean, both of those meetings were somewhat unpleasant yet revealing.
The trots then.
Yes, both.
Yeah, well, Absalom made his arrival known, but that was it. He sent word. He didn't come personally. I spoke to him about a month ago when he was first sent down here. He's taken over Trot's Marauders over on the other side, and they're very much over in Alberg.
Yes.
And they've, as far as one can tell, they've largely taken over like a minor fiefdom over there.
And how has it been here with them? Because I've seen a few of them around.
Fine, they gallop about. They don't do very much. This is very much our territory. It's nothing to do with them.
You haven't had any issues? They respect your
absolutely.
authority? Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
The alliance is very strong. We've got Greta here, and she has been, from what I can gather, very useful. She has some decent insights into everything that's going. That's her name. Greta. Remember now.
Yes.
Not Grizzy.
Not Grizzy. Well, I think it was Griselda because it was witch-like, is what we said. Oh, G to the Riz. Greta. Greta. Right. Yes. You You say she's useful. Been useful in what way?
Oh, absolutely. She's been advising your brother deeply. He has been, I would say, more focused than he was previously. He's also been advising your she's been advising your father, I mean. And that's been well received. Apparently, they've had several dinners together, and it's gone very well.
Right. Interesting. I suppose you know things around the castle and things like that.
Yes, of course I do.
Yes. How people think I'm dead here? Obviously.
Yes, that is the general belief.
How has that been?
Well, I'm honest, most don't care. It hasn't been so good with your mother.
Right. No?
No. I'll leave that for others to discuss. It's not really my place, my lord, but I will say that she did not take to the news very well.
Okay. All right.
And if I'm being honest, she took to the news of Vendel disappearing, if anything, even worse. But that's because she was already in such a poor position because of yourself.
Right. Okay. All right. Nobody's seen him? No? No? And he was thought to be in Ubersreik during the time?
He was in Ubersreik.
Right.
Fortunately, we weren't.
Okay.
We put it around that we were, but we weren't. It's always good to be able to mix up the stories that are out there.
Well, hence,
somewhat coincidental, it was winter, the deep of winter as well. And your grandmother wasn't feeling very well in the autumn, so your father decided that it might be wise to retreat up into the Newfoundland.
Oh, he was here already?
He was here already.
That is very fortunate.
Very fortunate. We put it around, though, that he wasn't. We put around all manner of different things to try and muddy the waters. Right.
Yes, no, smart. Speaking of, and hence my reasoning of only having a light beer, I know he sort of summoned me.
Yes.
I wouldn't really want to keep him waiting. Also because, well, he might give you a bit of stick.
No, he won't give me any trouble at all. He doesn't know how long it's going to take you to get up there.
I think you're selling him short there, Brynn.
He is, let's say his mind is in other places.
Really?
Well, there's a lot on his mind, isn't there? He's aware that you're here, and he's aware that I'm escorting you. And if there's any trouble, he'll know. You'll eventually arrive. He'll be happy with that.
Oh, okay. What?
You might want to change first before you see him.
Yes.
Tidy yourself up.
Yes, quite right. And my room still...
Your room hasn't changed.
Right. Oh, good. Okay, excellent. And how did my father respond to me being both dead and then also returning?
That is an interesting question. He did not show much change.
Right.
When he heard you were there, he requested that you attend him.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
So, on that, was it just talk, or do you want to actually know what happened at Black Powder Week?
Well, I suppose we have time if we don't have to be there at any position or point. Yes, you may as well.
What's wrong with a little bit of gossip?
Sure.
Except it's not really gossip because I was there. It's more like retelling something that occurred in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen that elf before. She wasn't going by that name, though.
No? What name was she? Do you remember her name? What it was back then?
Get this, if you will. Theodora Bell.
Theodora Bell?
The space Adora Bell.
Oh, that's awful.
I know. It is fair to say that the Adora Bell was somewhat of a fixture in Nuln at the time. It was said that she had turned down the Van der Kuipers of Marienburg for a ransom's worth of money. She chose her companions with very careful, your father and her met under very different circumstances.
Right.
It was in court, there was a large party going on, and it was on the outside of it, as I recall, at least. This was 30 years ago. So your father was, what, 20? 19.
Right, okay.
It was his first Black Powder Week. I had been entrusted by your father to guide him around the site.
My father?
Sorry, his father.
Right, okay.
Sorry.
You were chaperoned. You were chaperoned.
That was very much my job, and it did not work very well. Your father was a very singular-minded individual at the time. He did not like to be constrained under any circumstance. And what happened was that she happened to be gliding by, and another elf was so unimpressed with what she presented as an outward, let's say, well, she was very much dressed in a human style. He didn't like it.
Mm.
So he threw some casual barbs in her direction. They weren't particularly vicious. Your typical insults. I can't remember exactly what they were. Probably like a human-loving elf or something. I have no idea what it was. It was a long time ago.
Mm.
Your father would not stand for it. He found that to be absolutely unacceptable. So he immediately turned down and challenged the elf to a duel.
My father?
Your father.
He
challenged him to a duel.
That seems very strange.
So he whipped out his rapier and swung it around a little bit. Now, your father at the time hadn't gone through the training that he has gone through now. Indeed, if I'm fair to say, it was because of this particular duel that, well, it was actually Trott got him down to Valancourt to get some proper training. But he whips it out anyway. And Trott comes forward and says that he'll act as his second. That's Zenekar Trott.
Mm.
I am attempting to intervene there and say, no, I'll act as the second. He's my bloody charge here. And he's like, no, I'll be doing this. Except you know what Trott's like. He's all high-pitched. And now Trott is an extraordinary swordsman by this point. I mean extraordinary.
Yes, I've heard
he's known in the Nulna court for his skills. And he's Valancourt's second student, as they generally refer to it. Valancourt, if you don't know already, is one of the finest swordsmen in the Empire.
No, I know.
You double checking just to ensure that you were listening to me last time. So, your father comes forward, blade up, offering somewhat mealy-mouthed insults, if I'm being honest. And the elf tries to get out of it. He's like, no, let's not do this. You're going to lose. This is just a waste of our time. But no, your father would have nothing of it. So the duel went ahead. And it is fair to say it was a little bit like a cat attempting to take down a bear. Now, the cat was enthusiastic and certainly pulled out the claws and hissed, but the bear was a bear. Now, obviously, an elf is nothing like a bear, but I think the comparison there is clear. This elf was old, skilled, capable, and also somewhat bored of the whole situation, slightly embarrassed your father, gave him a couple of nicks and pushed him away. However, this went down very well with Alamenowith.
Right.
Very well indeed. And your father...
Bell.
Yes, did. Yes, quite that. Your father and he disappeared. Father and she, pardon me, disappeared for a night.
Right.
Much to my disappointment, and might I say much to Trott's disappointment. He wasn't at all happy to be abandoned to the court. Oh, perhaps it was the next night.
So
it was a long time ago. It might have been the next night that they went off together, actually.
Yes, okay.
No, because there was a party that evening. She had a really big dress on.
Right.
Really big. Or was that a different night? Oh, it doesn't really matter. It happened anyway.
Overly ostentatious sort of thing.
It's over 100 paces long.
Right, oh, very.
Held up by children down its entire length.
Awful.
It was beyond extraordinary. Down the entire length of it was embroidered the entire history of the empire.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, I'll be
having
having more of a conversation with her.
It was a presentation to the Count of Null at the time. She was being presented as some form of gift or as a visual piece of art or something. I honestly didn't understand.
That does sound more like her, to be fair.
It didn't make any sense to me at all, actually. I remember looking on going, what is this? And then they all started dancing, and there was like talk of Marienburg and things I didn't really understand at all. And there was singing.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. And father... Well, all right. I kind of know what that means then.
Yes.
Yes, very much so. All right, well, I will have to... I don't know what I'll ask him, but... you know. All right.
You ready to go see him?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Feel
Okay.
a bit more relaxed.
Yes, this has helped actually.
I hope so.
Very much so. Okay.
Right,
What's he been like? Just recently.
Distant.
Distant. More so than usual.
Oh, your father has very rarely been distant. He has often been blunt,
aloof,
right, but not distant. He's kept to his own, and that is rather rare for him.
Is he managing in the way that he used to, in terms of actually managing things and doing stuff?
There is a great deal of things well, it depends what you're looking to be done.
Right. Okay. No, you don't have to say any more, Brynn, if that's the case.
I'm not going to speak out of place, but I will say my job is to defend this individual castle, and my job is being amply supplied. And it's fair to say that your aunt, Lady Hilda, her job is also being amply supported. But if there is any truth to the potential of actual war or anything similar breaking, we will not be prepared. We will be ready to defend. Currently, we are taking a very Sigmarite view, which means we will never, ever win if this is what the plan is, because we will only be ready to defend.
Right. Well, Newfoundland has never fallen.
No, it hasn't. But it does suggest a lack of ambition towards
Pushing
the overall
back.
goal. Yes. So one can only assume that either isn't the goal or that has been forgotten. Or maybe it's been left to the Duke of Tame.
Yes, okay.
I have no idea. I'm not in that particular conversation, which in and of itself surprises you slightly, because your father and he had often been, well, almost thick as thieves in the past. Let's get you changed.
Yes, if you would be so kind. Just to take me to, well, my old rooms. I should probably bathe as well. That would be ideal. Yes, that will do nicely. Very good.
Your chambers are pretty much exactly as you left them.
Mm-hmm.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. And it's odd, looking out the window, seeing the rise of the grey mountains, the mist gathering around the lower peaks and all the trees there. It's been a long time since you've been here.
Yeah, knowing obviously sort of Ubersreik is where we were.
Yes.
And this is not, it's not home. This is the we winter in the country sort
yes,
of
quite.
thing. When was the last time that?
I mean, he probably has been here relatively recently, as in within about the last 3 years. He'll have passed through at least.
Okay.
But BlackRock was very much, as in BlackRock Castle, was very much his home. Newfoundland was somewhere that you'd pop back to every once in a while, particularly if you're visiting, say, for example, your grandmother, particularly when your grandfather was still alive, popping back and seeing him.
And Brynn, just as we're, and this is assuming as we're sort of walking to my chambers, where is Greta staying within the castle?
Well, with her husband.
Yeah, no, obviously. But whereabouts are their chambers, their rooms?
And the exact same place that your brother's room
right.
as well.
Okay. All right. Fine. Excellent. Over in the other wing.
No, it's in this wing, the leather wing.
Right. Perfect.
Loosely speaking, Newfoundland is a large sort of U shape or an N shape, depending upon how you look at it. 2 primary wings built along 2 spurs of. It's almost fair to say they're mountains because they're at the top of them. It doesn't require a curtain wall around it because it's naturally defensive.
Right, okay. Yeah,
and between that lies what in any other part of the empire might be referred to almost as a city. It's a close, tight grouping of buildings. There's temples, there's guilds, there's all types in there. Most of the other big castles of the empire, the burgs, are exactly that. This isn't really just a castle. This is a proper big town held within with a single wall barricading off this natural mountainous castle that sits around the top. A combination of walls and spires and pillars and loose bridges and everything else in between. It's been built up over the course of centuries as Newfoundland, and as you say, never fallen.
All right. Okay. No, that's good. That's good. As should be the case. I'd like to see my brother actually before I leave. Out of curiosity, I don't suppose there has been an arrival of two others travelling together. They would have, part of my travelling party. They left before us on the road, but we travelled by barge and then came through Ubersreik, through most clandestine ways. So
when did they leave? So that would have been, about 3-4 days ago. They should be here by now. They were making their way down the Hygiene Canal and the main bridge over the Hygiene Canal. I can barely say it. ABC. The Hygiene Canal. They got off the Hygiene Canal main bridge, and they were just making their way up towards a Newfoundland separate to you, largely because there was a strong possibility that he may have been associated with you if anyone's been spying around. And it was good to split you both up, just in case.
Yeah.
There's been no one who has asked,
no,
inquired up towards us. I might have missed something. I could have a little ask around.
If you could, they should be here by now, theoretically. Older gentleman, eye patch, walking cane.
Do you know how old is older? You reckon about 50?
He's mid 50. I think he's 51 years old to be precise.
Right. Not that old then. He says.
How old's Brynn?
You're not sure, but maybe older.
No, I mean,
as he folds his arms.
Brynn, I mean, you do exercise regularly and have managed to keep yourself trim. He is aged both in body and soul. An old soul is the best way to describe him.
Right.
But couldn't ask for a better friend.
Would you like a spade?
Ladder would be better.
All right.
Thank you.
Right, so an older gentleman, do we have any other salient, important, identifiable details?
Big handlebar moustache, eye patch. I think I've said eye patch.
Good.
Eye patch with a skull on it.
Oh, that's quite distinctive.
Yes, very much so. Probably will be slightly complaining because he would have been on the road for a few days, but yes, so that's one of the party. The other one is a severe woman, I would say. She probably early 40s. I forget what Flaster looks like.
Dr. Flaster. She's got the skin of a Southlander.
Right.
So her skin is not far from almost midnight dark.
Right. Okay.
Very dark skin. And she wears white.
Right. Dark skin, wears white.
Her hair was in a loose wimple underneath her hoods when you last saw her.
And are doctors required to carry or to, do they have, for lack of a better term, big red crosses on them anyway? They
do not.
Okay, cool.
Some of them may be carrying identifiable marks that might suggest something like Shalia.
Right.
Some of them prefer to make reverent offerings to Verena, the goddess of wisdom. Others to other
She
places.
doesn't seem to be that faith-bound.
No, she seems to be quite practical.
Yeah. So I doubt she's probably got any of those on her.
The fact that she looks like a Southlander and is named Doctor is probably enough to identify her from everybody else in all of BlackRock.
Yes, so they should stand out, really, if you keep an eye out for them.
They sound relatively distinctive, my lord. It shouldn't be too difficult to find them.
No, thank you. And if you could just inform, the relevant people, scouts and things like that, to see if they can see them on the road.
Yes.
That does worry me slightly.
Well, they probably should have been here by now, but then it's been busy on the road. They might have been detained by one of the many patrols.
No, that's true.
It may just be delayed by a day or two. Stopped off in one of the inns.
Okay, all right. If that's the case, then I'll just require the usual page.
I'm sure that Seneschal will sort you out for everything.
Yes.
He says, I'll make sure that everyone knows that you're here. And
Thank
any
you.
needs that you have, the servants will bring them to you. And if you're done, I'm going to go and do my actual job.
Yes, very good. Carry on. Good to see you, Brynn.
Good to see you too. Chin up. Shave.
Yes, okay.
It says.
And then let's go through the montage of having a shave, having a shower, and getting some new clothes.
Montage.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at me, showering away.
So
bathing.
Yeah, good deep bath, proper shave. Well, I would be shaved. It would not be me doing it. So
yeah, quite.
Yeah, sort out.
Shaved.
Haircut. Proper clothes.
Oh, they do feel better than the raggedy barge clothes.
Yes,
you've
yeah,
been
exactly.
forced to wear.
Which I will keep. If they try and like wash them or something. I was like, no. If you could just put them there. If I will require probably some traveling bags at some point as well. But you've done a fine job there. Well done. What is your name?
He bobs and says Stalvin.
Stalvin, well done. Thank you very much. Sorry, I know you sort of worked for me for years now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you.
We used to play cards, my lord.
Right, okay. Well, no.
It was admittedly all of 4 years ago.
Yes, a long time. Many things have happened. So, yeah, stand-up chat.
You and that lanky initiate fella.
Yeah, Leopold.
Yeah, that was his name. I've forgotten his name. See, it turns around.
Yes, it is one of those problems. Well, Calvin, great.
Stalvin.
Oh, Stalvin. Stalvin, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. He says, I'll get it all organised for you, don't worry.
Okay. How do I look?
Chop him down. You actually look very good, my lord.
Right. Good, thank you.
Did you, if you don't mind me asking, take Brynn's suggestion to take up swordplay when you're up Aldorf? Because you're fair leaned out.
I've done some things. That's all. That's all you need to know, Stalvin. So
Right,
yeah, thank you.
And that's him leaving.
Honestly, you give these people a millimeter and they take a mile. Right.
These people.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I'm an awful person.
So, as you're bemoaning these people and the horrors they put you through, what's next?
Present myself. Let's go see dear old dad.
Get yourself an escort to take you up there.
And the letter and everything.
You have the letter.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, your father is over in his own private quarters that he holds up the very rear, the corner of the Heletha. But he's not in his offices, which surprises.
Mm.
He's very rarely not in his offices when he's here. He's a very busy, constantly doing man. Instead, apparently, he's off on his balcony, overlooking the Grey Mountains.
Right.
So you make your way up there. Interestingly, as you pass through one part, there's a pair of guards wearing the black of the trots. They don't stop you. They're just there. Both of which don't have the classic halberd, the sign of guards across Reichland.
Yeah,
they do love their halberds.
Oh, yeah.
No, both of them are armed with short swords and a pair of daggers, sitting at either side.
Good. So they look more like people who would stab you in the back alley rather than
It's not unfair.
things. Yeah.
Not unfair.
Okay.
Not unfair.
All right.
They both nod as you pass by.
Right. At ease, gentlemen. That's unnerving.
It's a little. Pass through that and you're into your father's private quarters. Apparently he'll be down here to your left, into the corridor, turn around, there's the big balcony where he'll be sitting, assuming that he is where everyone claims he is.
Okay, let's just
Making your way down there.
readjust.
In the teal and silver of House Jungfreud, 2 guards stand near the end of that corridor. They are wearing holding the halberds.
See, that's more like it.
And they're held out and crossed, stopping anyone passing. Upon seeing you, they both pull back with a scrape of wood and metal.
Do they look relatively shocked?
Nope.
Considering I'm back from the dead?
Nope. They've clearly been told that you're on the way here.
Okay.
It's not their job to look shocked. It's their job to stab anyone who's trying to stab.
Good.
Your dad.
Okay. So I'll make my way a step out upon the balcony.
The balcony.
Hmm.
It's a little more worn when you were last here. The long curve of it, paint is beginning to peel. You remembered it being varnished. Things have changed. The elements here, you know, can be rough. The winters here can be harsh. You're actually quite lucky. Coming up to Newfoundland, sometimes even in the spring, can be an exercise. Difficult. Snow everywhere. And you're aware that there is snow out there already. But up here, with the brisk wind hitting your face, you're reminded in just how harsh it can be. The brisk wind is apparently something your father desires, else he wouldn't be here. The mountains themselves stand as his vista. He's not looking down into the empire like some lord looking to conquer and move. If anything, he has his back and his life pressed up against the mountains. Trees climb up and then it just goes into soaring peaks and clouds. It disappears. It's just too high. He's sitting down in a relatively simple wooden chair. In front of him, there's a small table. On the table, there are 3 bottles. One bottle is in an ice bucket. Another bottle is out and empty. Another bottle is mostly done. There's 2 goblets. There's also a small crystal glass. The crystal glass is where he's been drinking from the red wine. There's dribs of white wine in one of the goblets.
He's mixing.
Looks like he might be doing something of that ilk, yes. And he also has a small tumbler sitting in front of him with some water. There is no food to be seen or anything else to soak up all the potentially excessive amounts of alcohol. There is a chair over on the other side as you take in your father himself. It's difficult. He's an old man. He's always been an old man to you. That's all you can remember him as, the old man. And because you've been mixing with so many other people of late, it's hard not to realize that he's not as old as you first thought. I mean, he's old, but he's really only just turning 50.
Yeah.
He's not actually that old. Not that you could necessarily tell. His face is worn. His eyes are red, almost like he looks like he's been crying. His body is slumped slightly. His normally sparkling blue eyes are almost dull and grey, reflecting the mountains themselves. There is no doubt that this is the man that terrorized most of your youth. He is no different. If anything, you fear he may be, if anything, more grumpy because of the way that he appears. He looks up as you arrive, and one of the guards from the back says, Lord Gerhardt. Just that. As he sees you, indicates you can come in.
Right.
To his balcony.
Okay. Stride out. There's a chair there, yes?
Yeah, there is.
I'll stride over. Hello, Father. I have something for you.
He raises his head, scratches at, a new edition. Didn't quite catch it when he was out that, turning around, bit of a beard.
Oh, does it look like a real beard?
Well, it's not a fake one.
Well, no, a full beard, bearing in mind my grandfather's comments of...
It might get there.
Right.
It's not there yet.
Interesting.
As he looks up at you and says, well, it's said that you had died.
Yes. A ruse to conceal, number one, my whereabouts from those who would seek to do me harm after, obviously, the situation we find ourselves in. And, well, the opportunity presented itself and I took it. Nice to say. But, as you can see, not dead. Very much alive. And, yes.
Over 3 months without any word.
Well, I mean, yes. It was finding a way to get word to you that would, well, prove that it would be myself, or if it could theoretically be intercepted by somebody else or something along those lines. You know, it's difficult to make sure that letters get to the right person. So, yes, 3 months, but, well, I stand before you now. I'm still sort of gesturing with the letter.
Are you aware of what this has done to your mother?
Yes. Well, no, I'm not entirely, but
she speaks with
Brynn,
you nightly.
I'm sorry, speaks with me.
Yes. Your mother's mind could not accept that you had possibly been killed, so she chose not to accept it.
Ah.
She prays nightly in the Temple of Shalya because that is where you appear to her.
Right. Okay. Well, I can fix that now that I am back.
I do not think you can fix that.
Well, I mean, I may be able to. A conversation that could go quite well, and, you know, here I stand.
The problem is that she sees you nonetheless.
Well, I mean, there is visions of a thing, and then there's the actual thing. She should be able to know the difference between the two. Hopefully.
Should. Why don't you sit down, boy?
Right. Yes. I'll grab a seat.
And what do we have here then?
This is for you.
Cracks it.
Oh, that okay. It had a magical seal on that, just as a could have been dangerous. Zenikar, who gave me that, by the way.
Carries his seal.
Mm-hmm.
He met you.
Yes, he did. Yes, very much so. Well, actually, you say met. He, well, are you, I know you have a long-standing alliance, but are you sure you can trust him? Because he met me, but also somewhat threatened me as well.
Threats are not the same as actions.
Well, threats are only good if you intend to carry them out with action, right?
That is one way of viewing it. So you didn't break the seal?
No. It was, well, I was told that it had magical qualities, and, well, this is sort of before I gave it to you. I wanted to warn you, but you went straight in and cracked it open. It would have
burned the letter.
Oh, that's what it would have done?
Yes.
Right, well, that's good then.
It is. Good information. So, you care to explain yourself?
What do you mean, sorry? Explain myself.
Where have you been?
Right. Well, I left Altdorf, and somewhat clandestine means. I was helped, actually, by Leopold. You remember Leopold?
Oh, I do.
Yes. Leopold and a couple of others. And since then, I've been trying to make my way in the world, travel back down, try and create some influence to help with the current political situation here. And yes, now I'm here, and I was charged with bringing you that letter, and we were in, well, the area-ish, and thought it would be good to say, well, to come and, you know, present myself.
Picks up some paper from the side. Takes out a quill. Small penknife cuts it. Inks. Starts writing. So you have been to Altdorf and then...
Altdorf, then we went north to, well, the border, near Marienburg. Is that right? Karabberg?
No. I mean, it's a good try. Geography lessons of the Empire. You went north up to Delbrenne.
Yep.
Toured around...
Middenland.
Yeah, yes, you were in Middenland. Toured around the south of Middenland for a while, headed back to Altdorf, and then hightailed it down to Bergenhafen, pardon you, in the hope that you would gain yourself access to a whole ton of cash that didn't turn out, saved the world from a giant, awful, apocalyptic ritual, and then hightailed out of there, jumped in a barge that wasn't yours, stole it, ran off, salvaged, and find yourself in Ubersreik.
Well, I mean, the way that Andy puts it like that, so it makes it seem somewhat trite. But yes, we went up near the border and then came down. We saw the Schaffenfest. Well, I say saw Schaffenfest. We spent a day in the Schaffenfest, and then Bogenhafen. Something terrible happened in Bogenhafen, actually, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to speak to you and see you.
And he holds out a parchment. It's got your face on it. Wanted.
Well, yes, that.
So what happened?
Well, presumably it's a wanted poster like the ones in Bogenhafen.
There wasn't any in Bogenhafen when you were there.
No. The ones that were created, the wanted for murder type thing.
That's exactly what it's for.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
So this is part of the thing that I wanted to talk to you about. When we were in Bogenhafen, we discovered a presence there, a cult maybe. They didn't know what they were doing, but they were definitely being manipulated. And during which we came across demonic forces and ruinous powers, attempting to create a gap, a portal, something. It's difficult to describe it. It seems, through description almost, it would make it that much more real. A gap in the very essence of our world.
Do you need a moment to?
No. It's fine. During that,
Excuse me.
What?
You're interrupting me again.
Right. Yes. Sorry. I'm just trying to get the story out while it can.
Do you need a moment?
No.
Are you doing it again?
Right. Yes. Sorry.
Do you need a moment to gather your thoughts?
No.
And he takes out a spare goblet, pours you some wine, pushes it over.
Right. Thank you. I'll take that. And a nice big slog. Glug. Right, yes.
He holds his goblet, swirls it, pops it.
Well, this is the reason why I want to speak to you. That poster was created after something happened in Bogenhafen. This gate, portal, something that was being created by this cult, manipulated even. They didn't know what they were doing. And I don't know whether it was a success or whether it wasn't, but we found this, and I present him the other letter, the one which says, good work, like what you're doing, we'll see you in Grissenwald.
The last details for the ritual.
Yes, yeah. And then says we'll do it again in Grissenwald type thing.
Possibly.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if we did stop it. I think we did. But as soon as it had finished or stopped or ceased by us, a spell was cast. And the wizard I was travelling with informs me that this was a light magic spell.
Correct. Light wizard is what he guessed it was a light wizard, yes.
And it burnt away all evidence that there was anything being done. And almost immediately, these posters arrived, these ones here that you hold in your hand, pinning it upon myself, which I can assure you we did not. But more importantly, shows that there is a larger work at hand that appears to be targeting our family specifically.
I have it on authority that you were running around this city, making a fool of yourself, trying to call out various important individuals amongst the Merchants Guild, until eventually, having hung around outside their gates for some time, you stormed them somewhere down by the river, and then were responsible for murdering them all as they were attempting to gather.
Well, no, because that's what I'm just telling you, that collectively, the group that I travel with, we were set up somewhat. Myself appears to be the main target for that setup, but I don't think it is myself. I think it is actually just us, or maybe even just you. Because why else would everything that's been happening happen if not for a larger influence upon the world?
Why, indeed. So why did you come here?
Well, I think I might be one of the only 6 people in the Empire at the moment who, because it's happened to them, knows this and is putting it together, or cares, from what I've seen. It doesn't seem to be working.
What?
Well, the Empire itself, it doesn't seem to be working. As nobles, we are here to protect the people and make sure that things are held right and made right. And yet when we give power back to those people and they are left to rule themselves, they are corrupted, as we can see with what happened in Bogenhafen. And how can we possibly then say that anybody, any of us, based upon everything that's happened, is doing the right thing or knows what the right thing to do, when our decisions can impact thousands of people and cause the death of thousands, if not hundreds of millions? It just doesn't seem to be working, whatever's happening.
What's your point?
Well, my point is, I don't think I really have a point. I have another slug of my glass of wine.
God. I was hoping when you went to university that your fanciful mind would find a place. That perhaps it would fill it with enough facts for you to draw some interesting, useful, and applicable conclusions. However, instead, I hear someone who has skittish thoughts, who is questioning things that do not need questioned, because it seems to be the easy option. Far harder option is making it work. Which is our responsibility.
Right. Well, it's not working though, is it? Because you're in, well, open revolt / civil war.
There is nothing declared.
All right, without declaring it, you only have to look around.
There is nothing declared. 200 years ago, Magnus the Pious put in a very clear set of rules to ensure that there would never be another civil issue which would break the empire. It says. And they worked, after a point. We have gone through disaster, lost entire grand provinces to hubris, yet still everything still moves along. The empire is still largely in place. Marienburg is not up in arms against us. They are allies. This is a minor blip, a tiny bump, a small movement in the greater imperial politic. It will pass. These things always pass. By the gods, we hope it passes.
And what do you intend to do while it passes? Because it sounds like your solution is exactly the same as mine. And it somewhat looks it as well, if I must be honest.
And what do you mean by that?
Well,
state it clearly, boy.
It looks to me like you wish to stay here in a defensible position and drink wine and whist away the days, while the trots do what they wish within our lands under a guise of an alliance.
And that's what you believe?
That's what I see.
That is not what I asked.
Well, then yes, that is what I believe.
House Trot is an ancient house. The Trots, the young Freuds, the Gormans, Schnittels, most of the ancient bloodlines. You can hear the bloodshed in their name, even our house, the house of joy, for we took joy in bloodshed. The very heart and nature of who we are. When you strip everything else away, we are Umberigans, the people of Sigmar. His heirs on this mortal realm. The Gore men, coated top to toe in red, and the Trots, black-faced murderers, who would cover themselves so they could not be seen at night. Known for their furs, their animals, their beasts. Each and every one of us are waiting for the next war. The younger families have no real recognition or understanding of what we were. They have no history. These are our lands. We have lived here forever. These are your lands. Sigmar himself was born not far from here. Do not listen to what they say in Altdorf. Nonsense. Sigmar is of our blood. Like him, we take joy in this. But there is one thing that we have always shared with the Trots. They are wearing masks. They always have. It is who they are. Deceivers, tricksters, arguably, as well as being kind. There is a reason that we have never fallen. Black Rock. Has fallen more times than I care to mention, but we have never fallen. Ubersreik is not Jungfraud. It is an extension of our arm, perhaps. But we have lost it and gained it multiple times. It is Newfoundland. Here, that we take our strength. From those mountains. Now, most don't understand that, boy. Most see this as a wall that our backs are pressed against. As we are pushed far from what they consider to be an acceptable position. The war's already begun. It was started at the beginning of this year in Hexen's when they moved on Ubersreik. They started this. Now the question as you are posing it is, well, what are you doing? You appear to be here drunk, gazing at clouds, while the rest of the empire prepares, while the trots run rampant. Well, that is exactly what we want the world to believe. It is essential, that is what it believes. It's where you fit into all of this that I'm currently unsure. He pulls himself up straight. First time. Looks at you. It is a process. We must appear to be in a position of defense. That is in place. We must appear weak as spies riddle my palace. And they are there because we need them there. Because the more they see, the more that we can be sure what they know. If they weren't here, they would be coming to conclusions, attempting to understand, theorizing, instead of being certain. And the only way that we can be certain of what they know is to show it to them, which is what we do. We show it to them, Gerhardt. He raises his drink. This is a fine drink. He pours it off the side. As are the rest of the bottles I've consumed. But then I am the mountains. This is my land. Now are the trots running free? Yes. It's exactly where I want them. It is what they do best. Terrify. They're off their leash. They are probably killing Aldorfers right now. They should not be. But then it's the trots. They can get off with that. We cannot. We are in a position of defense. We are doing nothing. We're in a position where we can treat. They are not. We do not need them to be. They are doing something very different. The letter concerns me, though.
Which one?
The one you gave me.
I gave you two. One from Zenekar or the other one?
From Zenekar.
Oh, right.
It is all too eager. Folds something up. Clicks his fingers. And pigeon comes down.
It's a well-trained bird.
Not really. It says, wizard.
That was a wizard?
No.
Oh.
I have an amber wizard in my court.
Oh, right.
I use to make sure that our messages get through.
Fine. Okay, well, look, I am pleased then, hearing that. I thought that the Trots were taking advantage somewhat.
The Trots are doing exactly what I want them to do.
Good, excellent. Then you probably should know this as well. When I thought I was under threat from Zenekar, I gave him something, a political token in the war.
What did you give him?
A dwarven clan.
Picks up the letter that you gave him again, scans down it as he listens. A dwarven clan, which one? Gazani.
Gazani, thank you. Definitely have it written down. That one I do have written down. The Gazani, I believe they are a northern clan.
I'm going to do a roll for him to see if he knows. So he does. That'll be his mother's strong connections with the old dwarves.
But
exactly what did you give them?
Well, I let him know that a dwarf was framed for a murder. And the one who did the framing and helped that come to fruition was, well, technically it was me. But I did it on behalf of the Empire because it was the Emperor's son who...
Leopold?
Yes.
Excuse me, say that one more time. What did Leopold do?
So this is, well, it brings me to what I can give you in this. Leopold murdered No, wait.
Is this where you've forgotten again?
This is my backstory stuff.
Backstory! Forgotten!
I suggested the cover up, didn't I?
You suggested the cover up after Leopold pushed
off.
Do you remember who he pushed off?
That I know.
Sure.
Leopold, well, because Leopold is Leopold, and he was overly proud and somewhat stuck up, a Nordlander. Well, suffice to say, Prince of Nordland. Can't remember his name specifically.
As his face, for the first time, actually looks a bit shocked.
Mm.
The Nixer.
Yes, him.
That died.
Yes.
In the capital.
Yes.
That was.
Yes. Now,
when was that?
It would be around 2 years ago.
About a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah. A year and a half, 2 years ago. Give or take.
And then they move against us not long after the Imperial family.
Well, yes, potentially. But that'll be why the prince was exiled.
Presumably.
Well, it makes the emperor look weaker than he is.
It only make weak if the news is known.
Yes. And I presumed that somehow they thought that this would come out in the wash, and, well, here it is. I'm giving it to you because...
But it can't come out because you're dead.
Well, that truth will out anyway.
Who else was there?
Absalom.
Trot.
Although I don't think he's told his father. Because I don't think he would understand what it means.
Oh, anyone could understand what that means. The future heir kills. Midnheim would not be happy. Salzman would not be happy at Midnheim. That could be used as well.
Well, exactly.
But you were the one that covered it up.
Yes. So it would risk myself, but also it could put you in a position where...
Were you the one that killed the dwarf?
I would be the one who, indirectly, I suppose, led to the downfall of said dwarf. I didn't know that it was going to be pinned on that individual. There were a few people around. It just appeared to be that that was the one that was chosen.
You forgot what you did. You saved the Emperor's son's good name by pinning on the dwarf, by pushing the dwarf off. Remember the moment where you went...
Did I push the dwarf off?
Yes, you did. Absolutely did. And that was what made everybody go, oh, do you keep away from him? And you got your freedom, and you walked out of the League of Carl Franz. And were gone with it, and no one went near you again. Because they knew you for what you were. A young Freud.
Yes.
Well, that's something that's going to cause issues too, if it comes out. The Trots know that. Who else was there, do you recall?
Well, it would be most of the League.
Yeah, there was some 6 of them up there.
Yes. So myself.
You list them off.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Be only one of them loose in the wind.
You should have returned.
Well, it was rather difficult.
No, it was easy. You should have returned. That may have been when the war started.
I don't think so.
Too many people know, Gerhardt. Someone will have talked. Which means it will eventually have got back to the Imperial Court. The Imperial Court would realize that you hold something over the future Emperor. That has to be silenced and stopped.
Why exile him then?
That is confusing, I'll admit. The Imperial Court's rotten. To its very core. It's difficult to predict from here.
But this... What happened with the Voxala and with the positioning of troops and everything over the night, it's not something that is... It's too big. If I am theoretically a problem, then we both know that there are much easier, more quieter ways to fix said problem. I am an excuse if that is the case.
Smiles. There's some of your mother in you. That much is a benefit. Yes, you're correct. You're very correct. Tell me of Bergenhafen, he says. I want to know exactly what you suspect. Who's with you and why? Rather than going into details, are you just going to plop? Or is there anything you particularly want to withhold?
Let's whip plop most of it.
Yep.
The things that I will withhold are Alaminawythe. Not in a sense of, although to be fair, he didn't know her as that, but still. And Yume. Or Ume, whichever one is her actual name. Because I still don't know where that all fits in. Everything else, yeah, it can be straight up.
Yeah, pretty
if that's the case. And, well, the other thing that you should ultimately be aware of as well is I think there are others out there looking into this. There was somebody who looked exactly like me. Now, I'm going to be direct with this, as you've told me to speak plainly today. Father, your vices either bear a remarkable likeness to myself and are being used against us again, or it's something else entirely. But there was someone who looked identical to me who was part of these people.
Was it a grey wizard?
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Well,
they are cunning.
When we found him, he was dead, which was part of the cover-up. We had a corpse who looked identical to me, and we could use it. However...
Corpse?
A corpse, yes. And I don't think Grey's magic applies when they are in the realm of Moor.
Could be an illusion.
On a dead man?
They just spun an illusion over an existing corpse.
Feels like you might be clutching at straws.
I'm offering alternatives.
All right. Okay, fine. Then it is that. Either. Doesn't matter. For he was being trapped by somebody, I think, working on the right side. I never knew his name. But that other person who was masquerading as myself, his name was Castelliverung.
Well good job!
Now, I believe...
Liberung.
Yes.
And the Widow's Veil.
Yes, correct. And I believe he worked in conjunction with a group who all have tattoos. Tattoos, and I'll pour out a little bit of wine onto the table, and I'll squish my hand against it so that it looks, with a bit of the light coming through the glass and the crystal and everything, like a purple hand. They bear this mark.
And there is someone who looked like you. That.
Not on his person, but associated with people.
What more do you know about that? You said they're associated with these people. What is the connection?
Well, when we got to Altdorf, people with these icons contacted me directly, thinking I was Liberung. And they had a sign that they used to let that person know that they were part of this gang or whatever it was. You know about this.
Yes.
If you know about this, then what is it?
We first became aware of the cult of the Purple Hand almost 10 years ago. They had made a somewhat clumsy attempt to infiltrate Ubersreik. Their leader was captured, interrogated in Black Rock. He gave off very little, but what we did discover was the very same symbol that you mentioned. And whilst he said very little, his actions, what he had been caught doing, spoke much more. Assassination is a ugly game, and it is one that they were attached to, along with, once we found two of his companions, some relatively deep attempts to influence guild matters in the city. We thought it was an isolated incident. We looked into it, found very little else, and then forgot about it. 6 years later, Hild had made an uncharacteristic trip up to Altdorf. I granted her right to speak on my behalf in the bombshell. Now, you know she can be blunt. She is very much like her mother. She doesn't dwarven. She likes to be direct. And she had an issue with, well, actually with a whole host of lords in the Volkshalle, but in particular with one. He was the Duke from Amsterdam, and he was there directly himself. And he made a proposition that, perhaps relevantly, we should perhaps present to the Lords an alternative view for how we deal with mutation. The public, as it became, story for this was his wife, who was later beheaded, had borne a mutant child. And he was attempting to secure his child's future. That was the public version, but the truth was worse. Hild had no time for this talk at all. And she did what she uncharacteristically referred to as a clandestine approach. She followed him and took him to the very edge of his life in an alley down in the dark streets of Altdorf. And he was being bribed. No. Call it for what it is, blackmailed. It wasn't a simple bribe. The child was not a mutant. The child, it was claimed to be a mutant. The child was kidnapped. Hild, being Hild, decided upon herself that she had to fix this. She swore to, far too honourable for her own good, and ended up finding herself in the arse end of Reichland, pursuing a host of pointless things that took her months. You were in Ubersreik at the time, playing with Leopold, as I recall. You'll have missed her long sojourn. But in her investigations, she uncovered 12 separate cultists, all bearing the same mark. She pursued them back to Altdorf and found a further 4. And then the trail all ran cold. She came back. We discussed it. There was little else that we could do other than just accept that something was going down. It was beyond us. It's the arse end of the empire. It was nothing to do with where we were. It was shared with relevant people and we moved on. 4 years ago, 3.5. I was in Altdorf. And it was a simple handshake, nothing more. Simple handshake. with von Alsey, one of the better generals of the Empire. A simple handshake. It pulled back, and there it was, on the inside of his hand. That same mark. I didn't let him know. I went back to Ubersreik, and we started our investigation. He is one of the most influential men in the court of Aldor. It was not something I was going to tackle directly. Unlike Hild, I have a little more care. Not long after that, Ubersreik was taken. So perhaps that's where the war began. It's a complicated state of affairs, as you said yourself, Gerhardt.
Father, why would you not tell me this?
Why would I tell you this?
Well, because then at least I have some knowledge of what's going on. If I hadn't mentioned it or shown you this hand mark, I would have gone back out in the world none the wiser.
And why wouldn't you have mentioned it?
Because it comes up in passing. It as the conversation has organically gone to a certain direction, the information has arisen. Why? I don't understand why you've played your cards as close to your chest as you do. This charade works. It's convincing. It fooled me. Not that you think that that's much of an effort, I'm sure, but still.
Do you know who General Van Alsey is?
Do I know who General Van Alsey is?
Lore Empire is all that's needed for that one. It's a piece of general information.
Law fighting. I've got law, politics, heraldry, history, arts, philosophy.
They are not the strongest for this. History will give you some deets of Alsey in general. I'm surprised you have Lore Empire. My goodness. A gap in Gerhardt's education.
I have bigger things to fry.
A gap in his education.
The philosophy of the world is
so,
much more
well, exactly. That's not going to give that. Although that's relatively. I'll give one lore history roll. Let's see what you pull out of that one.
Loves me the ages, and here we go. Here comes some exposition. 5 successes.
Mm-hmm.
If this is easy,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't change anything. I don't know why I asked that. So 5 successes.
I mean, nice try.
Yeah.
So, Alsey, south of Reichland, right in the middle, down at the bottom. I'll pick it out later. It's a relatively small part. It's not one of the prime estates. It's a smaller one. But the reason that we ping out this one is because you were aware of at least one tale of the good general when he was going to war all the way down in Stirland. No, not Stirland, I mean Averland, down in south.
Yep, got you.
And he was responsible for a significant victory over Greenskin.
Right.
General Van Alsey, well, he would probably be Reichsmarshal. Probably overall commander of the entire Imperial Army, if it wasn't for the fact that the Hellbogs were so very close to the Imperial line. Hellbog, he talks a good talk and fights a good fight, but he's a better swordsman than he is a general. A much better swordsman than he is a general. And he might be getting old now, but there is no doubting he's the old warhorse, almost as a stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Alsey is a genius. Tactical genius. He was educated in the Monastery of the Black Maiden in Visenland, if you've heard of it. No. It's a Leorican education. That means he was taught in all of the old mysteries of Myrmidia, goddess of war strategy. Something that is typically frowned upon by many lords in Reichland. Perhaps less recently, but certainly in the past. After all, we don't need any more than Sigmar, do we? At the age of 19, he took his first command. And he warred in the Grey Mountains for some time, almost 20 years. Skirmishes here, skirmishes there, and lost almost none of them. He was responsible for a significant victory in the Blackfire Pass, Axebite Pass. I mean, he's even been in the Grey Lady Pass multiple times. He is not the sort of person you want to have turning his eye upon you. And if he is one of them, as I solely believe that he is, Gerhardt, your mouth gets the better of you frequently. Perhaps you've changed. But when you were younger, you found everything interesting to talk about. It's not that telling you might not have been wise. Telling you would have likely been telling many more than just you. Every story that returned from Altdorf reinforced that. Times have changed. Now you're older. Now you've found out for yourself.
Well, Father, it would appear that the fruit does not fall as far from the tree as you would think. That is the case. I talk, blather, usually about pretty mundane things, not much that really goes on. Food, primarily. Fashion, obviously. I find these things interesting, yes, but it's a thing to talk about. And I'm actually quite smart when it comes to it. If you choose to believe that, you can. But every conversation I've had with the Trot so far, they have had a different mask of me and think what they think of me in certain ways. Probably the only one that's had the most obvious one is Absalom. And I think he's established who I was, not who I am. And if I'm honest, I started to do it because it was a better alternate than everything else around us.
God.
What?
Get to the point.
Right. Well, my point is, ultimately, is I'm not a child.
I could have summed this up far more succinctly with a simple heir to the Emperor. I had not heard of that. But I had heard of the rest of your frivolities. Your point was made cleanly by that already. And yes, you're right. You're correct. He says, I hadn't heard that. You kept it. But I don't think that would have been the case when you were younger. Everybody goes through something, an event. Perhaps it's terror, perhaps it's fear, perhaps it's something else. Securing the Imperial line as an ally or potential enemy was yours, I think. You can't help but grow up after that, can you?
Well, I suppose not.
He takes out another parchment, cuts another quill with his penknife, and starts writing. Oh, my boy. I was intending on keeping you here. Now I'm not so sure. There are assassins everywhere, which I'm sure you know already. It's a fine scar you've managed to pick up.
Yes, very much so.
And may I ask where that came from?
This,
Let's keep it quite simple. Was it an assassin or an attempted one or anything that could assume to be that?
No. I think
So what are you doing now? What do you plan, assuming that I give you your freedom?
Well, it was my intent to leave anyway. So, well, now then, if that is the case, I will take what resources I can from this place, meet with the people that I've been traveling with, meet with Leopold. We intend to go to Grissenwald to root out, hopefully, whatever is happening there.
So you're not so different to your aunt after all.
I suppose not.
This is a ruse that I don't know how well you'll be able to maintain, Gerhardt.
Well, if it comes down to it, there are good people around me. Speaking of, some should be arriving, actually. A servant I've taken on. Advisor
would be the correct word, yeah.
Advisor.
Yeah, he wouldn't have made that.
No, I'm doing the steps. Educated man who has come into my employ. His name is Lucas. Lucas of House Mueller.
Mueller. Midland.
Yes, very much so.
Midwald? No, that's Midland. Oh, Kocherout?
Yes, he was actually travelling with one of the Cockerouts when we met him.
I haven't heard of him. How old is he?
He is 51. I believe he's the second son. Bastard born, if I'm not mistaken.
So why does he want to be with you?
Well,
it seems like a very foolish choice if he knows who you are.
Yes, I do question that sometimes, and he usually says, because I'm a good man, or something along those lines. So somehow I've...
Send him to me.
Well, he's on his way, along with a secondary individual who is continuing my education.
You've got yourself a governor.
No, a governess, realistically.
Good.
She is a
It's
doctor.
always good to continue your education. Warfare?
No, doctor.
Doctor.
Yes, physician.
A physician.
Yes, very much so.
What benefit will you get from this?
Well, I've already put certain bits of certain people back into themselves and sent them on their way to help people. You may not see it as a worthy endeavour, but for me it is.
Why?
Why?
Yes.
Why help people?
Why study something that others could do in your behalf? Why you? What is it that you get from this?
I think I mentioned earlier, and this might have something to do with it, I think we cause a lot of damage in the world that we live in. Whether it be egos, petty squabbles, or real intentional defense of the empire. And it would be good to have the knowledge and ability to put something good, be it very little, back into the world. To heal the wound that someone has taken for me.
So, it's not entirely a ruse. Who do you think you are, Gerhardt? You are painting yourself as many people, yet not firmly claiming to be any of them. On one moment you're a righteous avenger. On another you're a great healer, a fixer, a mender of ways. On another a hunter, a witch hunter, a killer of dark forces. On yet another you're just a buffoon who likes a nice drink, peering at art, poetry, and your mother's loot. You're not all of them.
Well,
what lies beneath?
I don't know yet.
And that is what concerns me.
Well, at least I have not made a decision that ties me to something, as far as I'm concerned.
Pigeon flies over. He ties it up.
There he goes.
Thank you, Pigeon. And flaps off.
I think it would be worse to be in a position where I regret the things that I've done or not done than make a choice and have to stick with it in a way that...
You don't even understand my question. That in and of itself is telling.
Well, Father, in the same way, you married my mother, yet I'm relatively certain that you actually love somebody else.
And there we go. And that actual smile crosses his face. There we go. Do you care to explain yourself?
I don't think there's that much more to explain, realistically.
I think there is. You make a claim, substantiate it.
I don't think I do, actually. Just your reaction in itself. That is the admission.
So you're saying nothing to me when I request it directly?
All right, if you want something directly, then I think I travel with an individual who, by the sounds of it, is the reason for your roving eye, let's say, while you still look for something else, something to fill that gap. An elf.
Ah, the one you didn't mention.
Well, for obvious reason.
So, are you in a position where you think that you understand the best information to tell me?
I can see why that would be considered hypocritical.
Yes, it would, wouldn't it?
Mm. Well, I apologise for that then.
Why apologise? It's a necessary position to take sometimes, is it not?
I apologise because I realise I've been hypocritical. I don't apologise for the decision.
You should be apologising to yourself. It shows the weakness of your initial argument. It was born of petulance, a desire to know everything, when you were not in a position to either know everything or understand what was going on. And further, if you had been aware, you would have made such mistakes. You wouldn't have been free. You wouldn't have had time to grow. And you have. But you're not there yet. And that is why I am concerned. Because now I'm in a position where I have to decide whether I let you go or not. Where are you best deployed? You are a dangerous token to place in a free area where people could kidnap you, use you against us. Yet, you are going somewhere that interests me deeply. Because I think you are correct. There is a corruption that is lying at the heart of our empire. And you are, for whatever reason you claim to yourself, interested in rooting it out. Whether you're doing it for your family, your own personal gratification, your own need to do what's right, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is the deed. And the deed interests me a great deal. Because of that, he says, looking at the loose pools of wine. I think that bears far more responsibility in this than is evident. And what you have brought to the table today has made it clear to me that I was right to look into it in the past. Your aunt was right to look into it. And possibly you're right to look into it too. You wish to say something?
I don't think so. I don't think I do.
You have nothing to say to. Convince me I should let you go.
I think that you'll decide either way.
Would you be wrong?
All right, well, there's a reason why there's a wanted poster on your desk. And that reason is because for whatever reason, and I don't know it yet, these people, these purple hand, whatever they are, view me as dangerous. Now, you've already lost your son, as far as you knew and the world knows. I don't think it would be that hard to inseminate that information out into the world.
Your assumption is incorrect. They're not doing this because they believe you're dangerous. They're doing that because they wish to take Bergenhaven and blame it on the young Freuds. It makes it a very easy move. Now, it might have a secondary effect in that it keeps your nose very firmly down to the ground and out of sight. It makes it dangerous for you to move and do what you want. And indeed, if anything, that is a reason to keep you here. Because there are those who will do almost anything to pursue that particular bounty. You will be on the run. There will be those who are looking for you.
Father, that's no different from when all this kicked off. I have been on the run for the past... How long has it been? 4 weeks?
It's been almost 3 months.
3 months?
No, more than 3 months now.
Time.
You were more than 4 weeks just running around Delbrenhof.
Wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I suppose that is true.
Yeah.
For the last quarter of the year. Presumably the year is still 12 months.
You know how many people I trust in this castle?
Probably count them on one hand.
Yes. I trust my sister. She's capable.
Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, God. Right.
But the very first time that she proved herself capable, she was 19 years old. She was young, younger than you are today. And she was far more foolish than you are today. You have said some wise things, and you've said some very, very, very unwise things. You've adapted, you've shifted your position, you've attempted to make your position clear. You've sometimes succeeded, you've sometimes failed. But you've done better than many. I don't trust you. How could I trust you? I can't be sure what you'll do. I don't think you know what you'll do. That's why you can't be trusted. If you knew who you were, if you could state it cleanly, this is who I am and the person that I am and how I will, underneath it all, react, then that would make you perhaps more trustworthy, predictable at least. But there is a certain benefit, I think, to unpredictability also. It will make it harder to find you, to pin you down, and to be sure what you'll do next, and I like that. That is not like your your aunt. She is predictable. That's why I trust her. But I also trust her to completely do lots of things wrong. Because she is so blunt and direct that she will make many mistakes. I can't trust you, and that is to your benefit, because I don't know what you'll do. Which means others will find it difficult as well. I'm told that you have a barge.
Yes.
Do you have the papers for it?
No. It will be, well, we picked it up in waters where salvage is legal. We just need to get the papers, which will come
Which
in...
means that you can predictably be...
heading towards Kemperbad.
Kemperbad.
Well, that is the idea. Whether that actually happens, we'll find out.
I don't like that.
Or at least...
I don't like that at all.
That's where we say we're heading.
No, I don't like that. Son, I will set Seneschal to organising paperwork for that. I will give you everything you need. You'll need to get it repainted yourself.
Quite doable.
Perhaps when you're doing whatever you're doing in Griswold, get your boat repainted.
Paint boat.
Reaches down, then over, presses a button to the side, continues writing. That would be an unacceptable predictability. If anyone heard wind that you had a barge that you'd salvaged, they'd know where you were going. There's only one place in the Reich you could easily get paperwork and claim that salvage right from Bergenhof, and it's almost a setup. That's where the assassination attempt is probably already primed. In fact, if you wish, go to Kemperbad, be ready for an assassination. In that, you already heard that he had taken a step that you were hoping he'd take.
Yeah.
Which you can call out or not call out according to your own personal wish.
Nah, I'm fine with that one. I do like I told you so, but still.
All right, Gerhardt. I have precious few pieces that I can play here. Maintaining my current position both strengthens and weakens me. Our enemies will move much more slowly because I'm pinned in. But I'm pinned. And they don't know you're out there. All right, I accede to your wishes. Find them, root them out, and kill them all. They are a poison at the heart of our empire. They, I think, are responsible for this. They are responsible for the deaths in Ubersreik. Deaths of my friends, my allies, 2 of my commanders. I don't know how many people they are responsible for corrupting, but I am quite convinced it is far more than is evident. What you have uncovered in Bergenhafen is the greatest crime possibly of this century so far. And you resolved it. If the cult of Sigma became aware of this, it'd probably sanctify you. That is how deep, and that is how impressive your feat was. Learn from it. Even if it feels like you were defeated in the last moment. You succeeded. You stopped something which otherwise would have occurred. And who knows what travesty would have occurred there. Are you aware of just how long Bergenhafen's past goes with weaknesses, gates, and similar? It's hundreds of years. This is not the first time something like this has occurred. The entire town was wiped out to a man. Not a single living soul left. Demons prowled the streets just a few centuries ago. A return to that is what you avoided. Consider that. One of the great cities of Reichland. Gone. How many souls did you save? There are more to save. This is what we do. We're young Freuds. We take joy in the defeat of our enemies. And they are our enemies, not the Trots. Do not think of the Trots of your enemies. They are your allies. They might not take routes or methods that you prefer, but they are our allies. They are our allies because of one person. Just one. Alamanawai. She shackled him. which he told me just 5 years ago. He was drunk. I've made it known to him already that she is working with you, which means he can't move against you, because he can't move against her.
Right, okay.
That was what was in the letter. He tried to kill you in Altdorf. Couldn't.
So that threat was
He
not
intended
just a
to
threat.
kill you that day. He couldn't even say it. All he could do was threaten, move around it, but he couldn't give the order. He tried. His letter was personal, almost joking. He knows when he can't do a thing. It's not a challenge, at least not from him.
All right. Then final piece. I don't know if this changes things. It may not. Zendikar means to, and you probably know this already, but his position in this is to take the throne.
I don't think that's what he wants. He has no need of a throne.
Well,
to sit on a throne is to no longer stalk the battlefield. That is what he really wants.
He made me swear.
All he cares about is war.
All right.
He'll say anything to get his war. To anyone.
Fine. And then, Father, the other thing, I know there's a lot of other things.
As I've come to realize.
Yes. Greta.
Yes.
Just, I'm sure you are, but keep an eye on her and in relation to my brother.
She's his wife. There's little I can do there.
Right.
Perhaps you could have a word with him.
Yes, I'm sure. All right. Going to retire now, if that is all right.
Give me a moment. She looks at a letter he's just been writing. Yes. We will maintain the ruse that you're dead. And I will maintain the ruse that you're a feckless idiot. Because it plays into your hands. Any that I meet with, your advisors, your physicians, your peers, I will charge them to turn you into a man. To help you to grow up. Because, Gerhardt, you may have moved far, but there is a many, many miles ahead of you. And if only one lesson sinks in and is useful, then it was worthwhile. Further, it maintains your ruse. Let them think you're stupid. It helps. You don't need to be clever until you're sitting on the throne, and even then, you don't need to be clever. Because I'll be dead one day, and your brother is unlikely to survive the oncoming conflicts. You be ready, he says. You be ready, boy. But do be aware. They may be quite forceful, because I can be intimidating when I need to be. Do you have anything else you wish to ask?
No, that is everything.
I will have some funds put at your disposal, but not too many. It is essential that it appears that all the funds that are at my disposal are being put towards our defense effort. So you'll have some coin. You can re-equip yourself. Take some steeds. Make your way down. Where are these servants? I should like to speak to them.
I have asked. I haven't seen them yet so far. I have asked Brynn to keep an eye out
Well, when they arrive, send them to me. How
They
long do you intend
should
to
be
stay?
until they arrive, and then I shall leave.
Good. Speak to your brother. Do not speak to your mother unless you think you can make a difference. I would not like to see her worsen.
Right.
She is in a weak place. And there's little I can do for her. If you require anything, Marshal, speak to Brynn. He'll organize it. He'll also be discreet.
Okay.
He is not very good at cunning, but he is very good at getting things done. You're dismissed. Whew! Whew! That done!
Okay. All right. Let's go back to my quarters.
Ooh, quarters.
Oy. I need another bath.
Yeah, totally. Bath! Splosh, relax. So beyond the bath and chilling out and potentially having a nice meal in his rooms, is there anything else that he's going to do? Anyone else you would like to go and see?
Okay. I relatively actually industrious over the next day. Just getting things together that I wish.
Makes sense.
So from bugger. Servant.
Brynn?
No.
No, Brynn. Oh.
Other chap.
Just get a different servant. That's the only thing you can do. Call someone. Just press the bell that says press and see who comes.
No, the other one we've got a history. So, all right. Charlie, could you?
You're killing me here.
I'm sorry. Would you be a good chap? I need a few things.
Yes, man.
Thank you. Excellent. So I'm going to need. Well, my father said there is funding set aside, so if you can gather that for me.
Speak to the senator about that.
Right, excellent. So you can't do that. If that's the case, I need one of our best bottles of wine and carry case for said wine. I will need a.
How about I'll get the senator? He says he's the one who will sign off on all of this.
All right, fine. Yes, if you could bring him here.
It'll be quicker.
Fine. Hello, Seneschal. Good man.
He's different to the Seneschal that was here before.
No, you're new.
Quite. Although new is not necessarily the best word, because he's old.
Right.
An old man, a pair of spectacles, sitting on like so, bald head and hair hanging down either side, as he looks at you and says, good afternoon, my lord. I have been informed that I should be supplying you with certain goods. I believe that you have some requests. If that is the case, then now is the time to make those requests so I can have them prepared for you before you make your leave, which I have been told could be at almost any moment.
Okay, I like this guy. Is there a way that I can just do are you a spy?
Intuition is a good start on that one.
Can I just do that very quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Why not, eh?
Does he seem up front?
88. Let's spend a fortune point.
He's 100%.
96.
So yeah, he's above board. Seems fine.
Yeah, great. Sure. Brilliant. Okay, right, excellent. You seem like a very trustworthy gentleman and fast about your activities and duties. I need these
I have
things.
been employed, my lord. It is
Yes.
what I'm here to do. What
Excellent.
is it that you would like me to fetch? Is it perhaps, he says, some illicit substance?
No. Ooh, yes. I wish for a good bags full of wild root.
Weird root.
That's one too.
Yeah.
Yes. The good stuff. I need a excellent bottle of wine, red.
Yes.
Preferably with a sort of spicy finish, like a pinotage, something like that.
Spicy finish.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Um,
Unfortunately, the butt is a little bit less stocked than we would prefer. He says there is, after all, some unfortunate civil issues.
Yes, fair enough.
But we do have a relatively broad range.
Good. Whatever fits said description.
I will make do with what we have.
Thank you. A small. Have you got? Do you know if we have any of the within the music rooms the smaller instruments, like a small harp?
The only instruments that are currently sitting in the music room are owned by your grandmother.
Right.
So you would need to request permission from her.
All right. I don't know if I've got time for that, realistically.
That's a nice code for saying you know she'll say no.
Yeah, she's quite a cantankerous lady.
She can be. She's cantankerous may be better replaced with, did you buy it? No? Then it's not yours.
All right, then
she's quite, as your father put it, dwarven.
Yes, fine. If that's the case, then not that. Could you fetch me a cloak for somebody about this high, and with basically as many different colours on it as possible?
A multicoloured cloak?
Yes, very much so. Not one for dreaming.
Motley?
Yeah, something like that.
We could have one made.
Provided it doesn't take more than 2 days.
It may take more than 2 days.
Yeah, no. Just something that pre-exists.
There may be nothing of that ilk here. Multicoloured cloaks are not particularly
Not multicoloured then, very bright, vibrant, something that pops, really pops.
Pops?
Yes.
Of course, my lord.
Right, good, excellent. Then... Only appreciate. Have we got any books of Ulrich within the library?
Yes, of course.
Right, something like that. One of those.
Of course. Just any?
Yes, any one that tells good stories of Ulrich and
The Ulrich Creed, perhaps?
Sounds great. Excellent. Have that one. Then do we have any leftover firecrackers?
I do not think that's very likely. I could speak to the engineers. I imagine they couldn't be too difficult to make.
Or, well, again, 2-day turnaround time? No, probably not.
I can't be certain that'd be the case, but we can at least start it. And if it doesn't fall through by the time you have to leave,
all right, fine.
Then it doesn't. But if it does, then we get it.
No.
I could do the same for this motley.
Yes, that sounds good. Perfect. And
we start the commission, and if you can forward an address at a later date, perhaps we could send it on if that is required.
Perfect. And then I will also require transportable gourds filled with cooking oil and, well, let's say sort of 3 with cooking oil and 3 with flammable oil. What's oil?
An oil.
Yes. So cooking oil and flammable oil, whatever that is, whatever the equivalent is. Oh, oil. That's that. And I think that'll be everything from yourself. And then if you could find Brynn for me and send him up.
Yes, of course. Do you require any extra clothing?
Yes, 2 changes of, well, this sort of thing.
It has been made clear that the clothing you have is ill-fitting.
That's fine.
It's very true. It sort of hangs off you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Then I shall send a tailor up.
Perfect.
After all, we wouldn't like my lord to appear as anything but what you are.
Good. That all works there. Yes, that's fine. That's everything from yourself.
Good. Evening, my lord.
Evening.
Back so.
All right. That's that. And then wait for Brynn.
Brynn arrives about half an hour later.
Brynn!
You were looking for me.
Yes,
He
yes.
says as he comes in.
All right.
What an industry you've created. Seneschal is bitching like mad. How much money does he think we have? He was calling. Who does he think he is? I did have to explain to him. This is the Duke's son.
Yes,
and he grumbled a little at that. He's only been in the job for about 3 months, and let us say he has been assassination for the previous. Sorry to say. Oh my goodness!
Didn't know that. With him. Yes. Poor fella.
Oh, well, he says not much we can do about that. So, how have you been? How was it? Did he shout or did he not?
No shouting. I didn't realise he deteriorated as much as he had.
I wouldn't say he's deteriorated. He's more tired.
Right.
He's definitely tired.
Yes.
Did you bring up the elf?
I did.
Did he say anything? I'd be interested to know if he said anything.
He smiled.
He smiled?
Yes, which was strange.
You know, we had a conversation about her about 6 years ago. About 6 years ago. You're a man, you can hear this. So, I had made it known that I was somewhat concerned about a recent excursion he'd taken.
Right.
Let's just leave it at that. And he frowned. And we were relatively deep in our cups. We were down in Ubersreik. And I brought her up. And I said, you know, ever since then, you've just been unfulfilled.
It's sort of what I said.
Unfulfilled. And he said, no, not true. And I said, well, please, can you explain it to me? And he said, he was drunk, which was relatively rare for him, but often when he went on an excursion, he would come back drunk. And what he said was that every single woman he had been with had been mundane by comparison. And that he had tried an elf and found her different, not the same. And that they just didn't do anything for him anymore. And I found that a rather sad admission, which of course I told him. And I said, look, my lord, there is no point in dipping one's wick across the duchy as you're chasing other men away. And he said in return, I don't care anymore. I'm going to be dead soon. And he passed out. So.
Right.
He's not in such a bad state.
No, I suppose not.
So what do you need?
Yes, so
I got told you might need some things.
Yes.
He was quite grumpy.
Good. Seems to have been a good conversation then, I suppose.
At
least I've elicited something out of him. I wish for these things. I wish for 2 pistols, please.
2 pistols?
2 pistols. Shot, extra ammo, all that sort of stuff. I will need a breastplate for... I give the dimensions of Leopold.
You don't have the dimensions for Leopold.
I'm a smart guy.
You can guess.
Yeah, I'll guess.
They'll probably be wrong, though. But you could say for Leopold.
Arts.
After all, he knows him.
Arts?
I mean, nice try.
No, but think about it.
As I said,
perspective.
Nice try. But he might know Leopold. In fact, he does. He's Brynn. He knows Leopold.
Yeah, but it's been a while, hasn't it?
It really has been a while.
I have got art sketch now, thanks to picking up a bit of doctorate.
That art sketching is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give yourself out a sketch, put on some relative guess dimensions. It will be 100% fine, won't it? I mean, you know how to sketch. You might need to speak to an armourer directly. As he looks at you as you start pulling out things and sketching, and goes, really, my lord, we would probably need the man. I can give you, if you're saying, I mean...
All right, 2 generic breastplates, please.
I don't think you quite understand how they work.
Put them on the front?
Yeah, I would recommend a fitting.
Okay, fine. Well, give them to me anyway. It might come into.
We have relatively few.
Oh, right.
We're going to war.
Spare one? You can probably spare one.
I can spare one for you.
Well, my armour should be around still.
Your armour won't fit you.
Because I've...
We can set the armourer to it. It shouldn't take too long. But yes, your armour won't fit you.
2 days? Less?
If you're lucky. I don't think so.
All right, well, let's get the breastplate of my old armour for myself, and I will need a one size fits all breastplate, if possible.
That's not how breastplates work, my lord.
No, we'll figure it out.
That's not how breastplates work, my lord. They are not swords.
All right. How does... here's a question.
Yes.
Comparatively,
yes.
How does...
One size fits all.
how's Brynn... how does Brynn look in comparison to Leopold?
Oh, he's a good bit shorter and broader.
But just chestily.
Completely different. Leopold's really skinny.
Fuck. Okay.
I mean, really skinny. He's got a very odd form. Tall, lean, thin.
All right. Okay.
He'll be filling out slowly, though.
I've got presents.
Keep spending the strength points, Andy.
Shit. All right, fine. Then if that's the case, weaponry's always good, isn't it, I suppose?
You seem to be finding it difficult, my lord.
Yes. I'm just trying to think.
Should we... What is it you're looking for? What do you want to do?
I wish to equip my party with good arms and armaments based upon the resources that I can gather here today.
I would suggest then something a little more giving than metal.
All right,
for example, some leathers or equivalent.
Yes.
If that's appropriate.
Then leathers. 2 leather jacks.
Why don't I take you down to the armourer? You can explain about the people, show how tall you think they are, how wide they are, and they'll be able to hopefully either take something they have already, just pass it over, or alternatively fashion you something appropriate.
All right, fine. If possible, for the whole crew. I don't know if they've got them anyway, but we'll find out. You may first, because it's the smallest one theoretically, so it'll be the quickest to finish. Then Birdie, then Leopold, Wiswo.
He doesn't need one, he's got a uniform.
Oh, does that count, does it?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right, well then I'll make him something else. And then Elf for the last one, so they can that all get sorted. Then for Elric...
Good pair of boots.
Well, I was boots don't work.
No.
I wish to you know, I wish for a partially inflated pig's bladder with sort of stuffing elements inside it.
Right, stuffing.
Yes. No, not stuffing as in food.
Oh, right.
You know how you get a pig's bladder and you kick it about?
You mean like a snot ball?
A what ball?
A midden ball.
Oh, yes. But think a lot smaller, fits in the palm of your hand, and if you're enraged, you can just take your anger out on this thing and just squeeze it as much as you want.
I have no idea what you're talking about,
No,
but I am very amused by the idea. I'm sure we can set somebody on that, but not really I'll speak to the seneschal, see what he says. He'll complain. He'll complain.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
No, good.
All right, there we go. Stress ball for Elf.
Squeeze that bladder.
Oh, yeah. So that's everybody sorted. Then... And I've got 2 new guns. Do I have a Gerhardt sword? One that was made for me that could be maybe just a little bit better than my rapier? I don't know. It might have some sort of magical properties.
The answer to most of that is no, except for the first part, which is yes. The sword that you're carrying will be no worse or better than the sword that you will get, but the sword you have here is much finer. Looks much prettier.
Okay.
The curved staghorn of the pommel alone. It's a personalized weapon after all. Will it be more immediately identifiable? Yes, it will.
Oh, no.
But that doesn't mean you don't necessarily want to use it.
No, do you know what? Sometimes you do need to identify yourself.
Exactly.
So I will take that, a spare rapier, just for myself, just in case.
You've got one already. So.
No, another spare one. So I've got my one here.
Why do you need so many weapons? He says, I'm not going to give you anything more than you need because...
Well, so this dress sword...
We need many of our things too.
No, understandable. So dress sword.
Yes.
Currently usable weapon.
Yes.
If this breaks, dress sword not appropriate for battle.
All right, you can charm test me.
I can charm test. Love it. I am rolling. Fortune point. There you go, success. 0 successes.
Oh, right. He says, all right.
Does it help if I've got carouser nobles?
No, it's not a party.
Or clever.
We've passed. We're fine. As he nods, all right.
All right, fine. Perfect. That should be all. Did you find my friends?
No, not yet.
Okay,
It's only been a few hours.
All right.
It could take days.
Okay. Well, I'm here for the next 2 days, while some other things are sorted out. In the meantime, where's my brother at the moment?
Probably bed.
What time is it?
Just past the 10th bell.
Right, fair enough. As in AM
track.
or
no PM.
Yeah,
you can
okay,
awake all
fine.
day.
Yeah. All right. Okay, fine. Brynn, thank you for your help. I'm going to hit the hay.
Feathers. You're at home now.
Well, yes. It's something I picked up on the road. I'm going to sleep in a lovely 4-poster bed, and it's going to be really nice.
Might I suggest a boiling bath to try and get rid of the rest of the things you likely picked up?
That sounds great. Sounds very good.
I know what it's like on the road, my lord.
With that being the case, actually...
Would you like me to send up the apothecary to give you some powders? You likely have lice, my lord.
Oh, right. Yes, please.
Yeah.
The primping and preening of Gerhardt and all this malarkey. Would I feel less stressed in general? Or is the crushing existential crisis of the
I'd say it balances out at the moment.
task I've been
but
given?
I think in general, yes.
Okay.
You know, a proper primping does a significant... in fact, no, I'd say, a good night's sleep, a proper primping, getting yourself settled in some nice clothes, I reckon that might drop you a stress point.
Love it. Thank you. Let's get rid
So
of one
spend
of those.
yourself a good day, a good part of tomorrow, settling yourself down, and then pop off to see your brother maybe in the afternoon, and that'll be the stress point lost.
Perfect. That sounds good.
Yeah,
Yep.
perfect. Okay, so brother in the
Rise,
afternoon.
brunch. Yep. Excellent. Where would I find him?
In the afternoon, he will be down in the training yards with the rest of the soldiers doing swordplay.
Okay.
Because he's your brother.
Yeah.
That's what he needs to do.
All right. Cool. So I'll go down.
So let us move from the wing right down into one of the open mustering squares. There's several of these at different levels within all of Newfoundland. Some of them are close to markets, some of them are right down where the barracks are. Each one's got its own purpose. This one here is actually bound into by fencing and some walling on the outside of that to the palace. This is almost the palace mustering ground, so to speak. Several young ladies who have been pretty much forced out of Ubersreik and have come up here are watching on with fans from the side. They don't need fans, it's almost snowing, but they've got their fans nonetheless.
Sure.
There is a variety of soldiers around. There are those who are sparring, others who are milling around talking, some of them having their lunch over in the corner where there's a large roast pig out, apple still in place. They're carving up parts and dropping that into pieces of bread. Your brother, by comparison, is stripped off to the waist. Your older brother, it's always nice to remember good old Sigismund the Younger. There he is. Stripped off to his waist, a purple sash hanging off from his waist, teal symbol sitting on his hip here with the stag on it, and he's facing off against 3 others with his rapier. And he is depressingly good at it. As he's slashing forward, pulling back, positioning himself well between the 3, not saying a word, keeping it very much stumm as he works between them. The rapier itself, you note as you get closer, is no rapier at all. It's a wooden facsimile in some respects. The balance on that's probably off like nobody's business. As he goes, and you realize, nope, it's not wooden either. It was just a bad glint of the sun. As he pokes one right through, it bends. It's just blunted completely.
Okay.
As he pulls back,
foils.
And pulls in, takes one, and takes all 3, and goes, right, so very good, right, so good, well done. You could have done a bit better, don't you think? Couldn't you, perhaps? He says on the other side, as he goes, "Oh, sorry, my lord." He says, so do better next time, popping him on the head. Right, good, turns round, sees you, and goes, oh my God! Right, so, Gerhardt, so good to see you. Shall we? No, yes, we will.
Right, okay.
All
All right.
He says, "Oh, sorry,
no,
sweat.
hello.
Oh, hello.
Yep, hi.
Sorry. I've been training, and obviously that brings out
I can see
the
that.
water
Good.
that's pressed into your clothes. Let's call it let's call it brotherly gift from me to you.
Sure, thank you.
There. No, of course.
Right, excellent.
I had heard word that you weren't dead.
Yes. No, obviously not. Standing here.
Yes, indeed. I'm so very happy. I'm glad. I'm honestly not being happier. Was just talking to Greta. You know, where we married now? We're actually married now.
Yes,
so.
Very much so.
I was talking to her, and she was delighted, indeed, to tell me, you know, that yes. He says.
Delighted to tell you what? Sorry.
Oh, we should have a drink.
Right.
As he sits down by a little wicker chair, which is laid out on a little wicker table.
Yep.
And as he pours out from a wicker holder, a bottle that's sitting in it, some wine into a wooden cup, wine into another wooden cup, he says, to Daddy.
Right. Sure. Father.
Yeah, well, of course. Father. Takes a drink.
Drink. Excellent. So you're,
Yes.
Yeah, doing well.
Very well. And
Excellent.
how are you?
No, I mean, you were doing well.
I know. Yes, of course. I mean, of course. What? Obviously, it says. And so, what's happened to you? You're no longer fat.
All right. Well, I wasn't
harsh.
Harsh. I wasn't really overweight to begin with.
No. I mean, really, you were.
All right. Well, look.
We used to like to call you Tubby Jerry.
Right. Well, that's rude.
I mean, we didn't say it to your face, though.
No.
No. Well, we didn't. Did we?
Now you telling me that just means that during that doesn't matter. Anyway, look.
I'm sorry. I mean, would you rather I lied?
Just don't say anything.
Anything? Oh.
Sigismund, stop. Just for a moment. Just pause. It's very nice to see you, and you're doing very well. Clearly,
I would like to say the same. You're looking very well too.
Good.
Do you realise that I'm now actually a baron?
Yes.
Actually, a baron. Got granted the title Baron. Who'd have thought?
Yes.
Yes.
Very much so.
That I was in. I was named that, and that means my obviously Greta Baroness, which is good. And that means we have a little baronet.
Yes, you have a son.
Yes, quite. You have to see him. He's marvelous. Marvelous.
Right.
Sigismund, obviously.
You've gone Sigismund again.
Well, imperial naming practices. They're always first name for. Always first son named after the father's father. Quite. There's going to be a lot of Sigismunds in this line.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
So many Sigismund. Your firstborn should also be Sigismund if you're following the correct protocol. That doesn't mean it always happens. Obviously, It doesn't always happen. And he goes, right, yes. So we like to refer to him obviously as Sigismund the very younger.
Sure. Yes.
Because well, yes, quite. Yeah. Until Daddy. Well, obviously that's not going to happen. But so yes, younger.
Right. Well, good.
I know. Good, isn't it?
How's he doing?
He's good. He's a baby. Not sure what to do with those, if I'm honest.
Right.
I sort of just I do this.
Yeah.
And I look at him, and he does what babies do. He's very young, just been born. Greta's already out on the horses, running around in circles, doing what you like, that sort of thing. And yeah, it's good actually. We've got a painting getting done actually just now. We have to pose like so.
Mm.
And so, the baby is like so, in Greta's arms like that. It's quite the composition.
Good, excellent.
Yes, it's marvelous. Yes.
God, this is exhausting.
Help.
Right. Well, look, just very quickly. I know obviously you're getting ready for the war.
Right. Well, no, it's not a war yet. You've got to remember that we're preparing for the worst.
Sure, you're getting ready for advanced negotiations. Let's call it.
Right. Yes. Well, of course, when politics fails.
Yes.
Or maybe when politics succeed, whichever it is, you have to take to the field, don't you?
Yes. Very much so.
Quite.
So
there's been a lot of frontline practice actually on that, right?
And front line, is it? That's where you're going?
Well, a lot of practice for what the front line is like, that
right,
sort of thing.
Okay. And you intend to fight on the front line, do you?
Well, I'm going to be down there. I have to be down there.
Well, the much more honourable thing is to command troops in the right ways. Make sure that the victory is taken.
Well, you're beginning to sound like you come from, Aldorf.
Well, and then only commit when needed.
Well, you might think that way. There's no better swordsman than me. Well, why would I let my men die when I could see them all off by myself? I mean, really, have you thought this through? You haven't thought this through, have you? It's probably because you've been squirreling away at a library or something like that. You know how you do because a bit weak, feckless, that sort of thing. But there are those of us who actually understand the concept of bravery. He says.
Just 1,000 miles stare straight down the camera. Right. Okay. Yes. So you're not thinking of surviving then?
Of course I will. Of course I'm going to survive. I'm going to be Duke, don't you know? Not just of Black Rock. No, we're going to be retaking Ubersreik as well.
Yes.
There's plans in place for that, and it's going to be marvelous. Actually.
And which regiment do you fight with?
Well, obviously the Ubersreik first.
Right. Okay. Good stuff. Excellent. So
Yes.
not with the trots or anything along those lines.
No. I command my own. Thank you very much.
No. Good to know. Good to know.
Don't be ridiculous. Because have you know that right? I'm be fine.
Good. Okay. Well,
Fine.
let's
fine.
just let.
And you hear a voice. Look, darling, can't you just leave your brother alone for a moment?
Okay.
It's Grizzy.
G to the Rizzy.
It's Grizzy. Grizzy who comes with a baby.
Yes. All right.
As she comes over. Ah, right, marvelous introductions. Right, so we had best do this because it's a formal event. He says, excuse me. We have to have the correct solemnity for such a. Perhaps you should put a shirt on. Oh, right, yes, of course. God, you've got to look the part, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
How do I look? You look much better. Good, right. Baronet says, I would like to introduce you to my brother, Gerhardt. She, holding the baby, curtsies slightly and says, it is a delight to meet you for the first time.
Yes.
Oh, right, yes, of course. It's marvellous, isn't it?
Yes, it is marvellous.
It is marvellous,
It is marvellous, yes.
Between the pair of you. Yes.
Yes,
Marvellous,
pleasure is mine, my lady.
Here, meet your nephew. Do you do the...
I am as uncomfortable with children as my brother is.
Underneath its arms, it sits there, head lolling. Small head slightly, there we go. That, Sigismund, is your uncle. Baby doesn't even look at you.
All right, excellent. Well, he is a...
Let me save you, she says.
Right, thank you.
And takes the child back. What is it with men and babies? They're not so hard to carry, you know.
No, certainly.
He says, well, marvellous. Sorry, darling, but this, he says, is a mustering ground for the men. Of course, darling, she curtsies. I will see you both later. Backs off. Oh, isn't she delightful? She might be the most beautiful woman in the Empire. Yes,
a pleasure. A real looker. Well done there, Sigismund.
Yes, well, Luca. Yes, Luca. I remember when you were chasing Lucas across town. Father wouldn't let me chase Lucas, but look where we've ended up.
Oh,
look, see that? See? That's what happens with patience. See?
Yes, it does. Patience. And you should apply that to choosing the right battlefield as well.
Oh, you're such a... You know, what you need to do is realize that not everybody needs to be as unbrave as you.
No, I mean the honor. Think about the honor. If your first fight, let's say it's a skirmish on the edge of a town that nobody knows, and undoubtedly you win.
No, undoubtedly.
Yes, but
yes,
but how small and insignificant a skirmish on the edge of a town in the middle of nowhere. No, choose a real battle.
I shall not be so easily swayed by the feats of glory that so many chase. I am much more concerned about a solid, step-by-step destruction of my enemies, the destruction of the enemies of the Empire, the destruction of the enemies of House Jungfreud. They'll all fall before me. It's decided, really. It's already going to happen. I've already decided.
Right, okay.
So yes, it's fine. In fact, why don't you watch me? I will show you how good I am. As he pulls off his coat, pulls off his shirt. I'll show you, you see? I'll show you!
Yeah,
As he goes off and pulls out his foil swishes it around a little bit.
Seems a bit unnecessary to take the top off again, but all right.
And he's back out there. Swish, 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 swish. You. Let us show him just how good I am. Wow.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk away.
Bing, bing, bing. Bye.
Not really getting through there.
I think he might have gone. Oh, he must have been summoned by someone. Oh, Father.
All right. Oh, yeah, Okay, I tried. You know, I tried on that one.
Well, at least you and your brother are nothing alike.
Yeah, there's some... It's a mirror. There is a mirror somewhere. All right.
Nothing alike.
Nothing alike. Right, Lucas and...
So now we're into the waiting game.
Yeah.
For when they arrive. The next day, a whole day passes, and there's no word. There is, however, a further question. Do you intend to continue your loose charade of being dead, and by that I mean dining away like crazy inside your own room, or do you join the family meal?
Oh, absolutely not join the family meals. I am staying in my room.
Mm-hmm.
At my leisure, I will read. I will think about things as I do.
It is halfway through the next day that you receive a summons from your grandmother.
Oh, okay.
It says...
My grandmother?
Yes, it says on it, Gerhardt, you are late. That's all it says. You know it means it's a summons. She expected, if anything, to be seen possibly even first.
Oh, this is going to be awful, isn't it? I'm going to get a right dressing down. All right.
Yay! So glad to be home.
This is just...
Her chambers
Yep.
are quite distant from your father's, which is in the back corner, up and about the middle of this particular wing. It has a wonderful balcony, you know, the finest one for seeing all the views. Your father's one's almost secondary in small by comparison. Yes.
Young Freud guards?
Young Freud guards.
Good.
Absolutely. She, her head all wrapped up in cloth hanging down, wearing the teal of her house, is standing by the window looking out. She turns around and looks at you. She's now, you think, what? She must almost be 80.
Mm-hmm.
But her back is straight. And whilst she's obviously older, visibly older than when you last saw her, she's not letting that show.
Okay. Hello, grandmother.
Nana.
Right, yes, sorry, I forgot to do you prefer that. Nana, hello.
No, why didn't you visit earlier?
Well, I was making...
None of your flannel, boy.
None of my what?
Flannel. I care nothing for your flannel.
Oh.
I would like you to get to the point. You're not like your brother. Don't pretend.
Nope, that's fine. I didn't visit because I was trying to basically sustain the illusion that I have expired.
And you wished me to think you dead?
No, it's just the...
You wished me to think you dead? Where is the honour to your grandmother in that?
Honestly, Nana, I couldn't... The practicalities of the situation meant that honour had to be declined. I know it's somewhat unacceptable.
Explain it to me.
Well, as a concept, honour is something that we have, well...
Don't be flippant, boy. You know what I mean. Why keep me in your very silent book?
All right, fine. I apologise.
Well, if you apologise, I shall consider accepting it. It depends upon what you say for the next one. Have you organised a decent marriage yet?
Oh,
oh, great.
You're
21 years old.
Yes, no, I know. No, I have not.
You are 21 years old. You made it quite clear in my last letter that you wished to choose this for yourself. I gave you until you were 22, or I will organize it on your behalf. Your 22nd birthday is dawning. A grand, ripe age for a young man like yourself. And I know of many young women who would be delighted to know you better. The household must continue.
Well, if the household is continuing.
Your brother's impotent.
How that you should not know that.
Oh, that's a rather intimate piece of knowledge to know.
Well, there's still ways.
Your brother is impotent. You are not.
That is even more disconcerting. A bit of
She looks
information
at you.
to know.
Unless you wish to confirm that that is the case.
That I am not, or that I am.
Are you impotent? Are all of my sons
Very much.
Sons impotent?
Very much considering lying here.
Yes, I'm impotent.
Please, let's not follow this up anymore. No. Everything works.
Well, then one must get married. And one must have children before this war kills you all.
All right.
It will be the end of your bloodline. 2,500 years worth of successful breeding finished. Because of your, what? Stubbornness? Your lack of concern for your ancestors?
I don't really have
pride?
Time.
We all have time. I think you'll find it's time well spent in most situations.
No, I don't mean that. I mean just time to do a... Well, actually, that's a good question.
So, you would like me to organise it on your behalf? Because you don't have time. I understand, of course. You may leave.
No,
A slight smile creeps up the corner of her mouth. Yes,
not necessary. I will endeavour. You'll receive a letter from me within 3 months.
I require the house seal of your future wife upon it also.
Right. Okay. Oh God.
That's a good boy, he says. I'm so glad to see that you're alive.
Oh, Sigmar preserve me.
Have you packed fruit for your return journey to wherever it is that you're going?
Fruit?
Of course.
Just from the dietary
your
requirements.
Palate.
Fruit. Oh.
You need more fruit.
Okay. I will pack fruit.
Your father often forgets to eat fruit as well. It's made for me, he would say. Been doing that since he was 6. Well, of course, I had none of that. Peaches in his mouth. Same for you if you're not careful.
Okay, you've got it.
I said you're dismissed.
Oh, yes, goodbye. Nice to see you.
Oh, of course. Nice to see you're not dead.
Yes.
He says.
All right, step out there. Oh, God, what a battle axe. 2 guards here and here, right? I mean...
Nothing more than a half smile on both of their faces
Good.
that they're trying to suppress.
Good. Yep, no, keep at it, gentlemen. Good, oh, sorry. Gentle lady and, yep, gentleman. Keep going. Good work.
Run!
All right, back to... Actually, before returning to the rooms, let's go see Greta.
Oh, interesting. So Greta...
Not based on that conversation, I should say.
That would be interesting. Yeah. That would put the cat amongst the pigeons, would it not?
Exactly.
Ping, 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 ping. Greta. She spends most of her time in her chambers.
Right.
You, cast it out, and if you wish to be invited up there, all it requires is a visit to a maid.
No, I don't wish to do that. I wish to offer an invite to one of, like, the presumably sort of the equivalent of a green room, drawing room.
There's all manner of withdrawing rooms throughout this wing. Some more impressive than others, some rather ornate, some
I shall take the
so.
most impressive room.
Oh, well, that'll be right down at the very far end.
All right.
So at the very tip of the wing itself, the vast majority of that part, it's almost big enough to be a ballroom. a small ballroom, but almost big enough. But it's kitted out largely as a solarium because the sun rises up in that side and beats down into it.
Perfect.
At this time of year, the sun sort of skirts around the top of the mountains instead, but it does make for a rather beautiful room. It's gilded everywhere, and it shines with its own light during the day.
Cool. So I will. I'll ask for a summons there. So somebody go get her. Meet me there. I will position myself so the sun is behind my head, directly into the seat opposite.
As he sits there and thinks, what first day there? 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
I would like to see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Well, no. The summons is sort of ASAP, 5 minutes.
Ah, right.
Yes.
Then you won't get her.
No time. Oh, really?
No. She's attending womanly duties.
All right, fine.
Probably
then
breastfeeding or something equally
let's do
distracting.
No, I'm not a Gerhardt's not necessarily against in that element. It's just the idea of a child. Just can't deal with a child. You can't just have discourse, you know what I mean? Right, fine. Then 12 o'clock, midday, the following day, please.
Perfect.
In there. Sun as high as possible. And again,
at the best part, it's 2 o'clock.
All right, I'll take 2 then.
Because that's just right behind you. You can sit there.
Love it.
She will arrive exactly on time.
Good, excellent.
There will be an opening. Her maid goes, Baroness Greta, pass young Void. And then passes out. As she comes in, she smiles. Well, it's so very good to see you again. A summons from you, then that was unexpected.
Yes, quite.
Will we sit? She sits down. An elf.
What?
An elf. Is she your lover?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
I thought she might be, the way she was looking at you.
You're talking about your mother-in-law. Stepmother, sorry.
My stepmother?
What are you talking about?
The elf you were with.
The one that we had you met with me on the road.
Of course.
Yes, and you had that conversation.
Look at your face. Yes, of course I had that sort of conversation.
So you remember the conversation?
Of course I remember the conversation. How the men am I? She's not your lover? I'm surprised.
No, but
What?
She is your stepmother. You are aware of this, yes?
Of course I am.
So why did you deny it then?
I suppose. I mean, she's hardly my mom. My father keeps trying to explain it to me. I don't really understand it. I don't think stepmother's exactly correct.
Right.
But it's close enough.
So here's the thing.
Do you know what something to drink?
No, actually, I'm fine. I probably won't be staying for long.
All right.
What's the angle? What's the game?
The angle? What game?
You're playing a game. All of this stuff. I have never met you before. Apparently you've been helpful to my father.
Well, of course I have. Why wouldn't I be? He's my father now.
Yes.
You're my brother.
Yes. The child, obviously, as well.
Yes.
The whole... This...
Well, look, what's my alternative? That I tell them all that it's your child?
Well, why would you do that?
Because it's your child?
I'm sorry, what?
Sigismund's your child?
No, you see, this is what I'm talking about in terms of games being played. Why?
Who's playing games now?
Do you just do this? Do you just create drama where you go to sort of cat among the chickens, see what happens?
I don't create drama wherever I go, cat amongst the pigeons, or indeed anything else. She says, there's a mess. We've tidied the mess up. You should be proud, happy. Your child's going to be Duke. Assuming everything passes as these things are wont to do.
Well, no, because it's not my child, is it? Right, well, look.
She says, take your drink. Of course it's your child.
Fine.
What is wrong with you?
All right, I'm going to leave this room in about 10 seconds if you wish to continue with this facade or whatever it is.
There is no facade to continue, my lord, but if this is how you prefer it to be, then so be it. I have a good father in your brother. That's all I need.
You offered to... You said he was going to die. You suggested that we remarry.
Well,
already.
It's going to happen. Makes sense that we remarry. Then, legitimately, your own child will be your own child.
Yeah, no, I think that's about 10 on my count. So, look, it's very nice to meet you. There was the chance there to drop it, but enjoy the sunshine. Stand up and I'll walk towards the door.
Walk towards the door.
And take the step out, open the door, slam the door.
Bang! As you hear her sit down on the other side.
These fucking people are absolutely insane.
Yes, they are.
Trots.
Trots. Father.
Right.
Impotent brother. So it's not his son. Partly it's yours.
Well, why would it be... Turn around. Throw open the door again.
She's sitting there, looking somewhat confused,
yeah.
with a contemplative look in her face as she looks up and sees you and she goes, customary to not return after
Yes, no, I understand that. Stamping across the floor. Sit down.
Oh, is this one of those moments when you just, oh, damn it.
No, it's not one of those. When?
When? Oh,
when?
Well, 3/12, a year ago.
Where?
Where?
Yes.
Well, you were there.
Where do you think that this happened?
I don't like that as a particular set of language, but I shall run with it, since you seem to be so certain of it. Altdorf.
Altdorf?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Did I introduce myself as a different name by any chance?
Oh, well, yes, you were doing that whole, covert thing.
Mm. What was the name I used?
Why?
Was it a Castelliberung by any chance?
Yeah?
Yeah, okay, right. So, here's the interesting thing. That wasn't me.
Oh, really?
Yes, really. It may have looked like
How
me.
convenient. Did it look like you, talk like you?
Out of curiosity, did it have a tattoo anywhere?
Did it have a tattoo?
Well, did
you have a tattoo?
Did he have a tattoo anywhere?
Didn't have a scar?
No, I bet it didn't.
I didn't notice any tattoo.
No, nothing. Maybe looked like a bit of a hand. Might look like a birthmark. Purplish.
I did see a birthmark. I didn't pay that much attention to it. Purplish,
Right.
possibly.
Where was this?
Was it on the leg?
Okay.
On the leg? I think it was on the leg.
Right. Okay, fine.
Right there.
Yep, got to do this now, don't I? All right, are you ready for this?
I think I am, she says, and smiles.
Drops Kex down to show off thigh. Look, what do you see?
I see a lack of birthmark.
Yes. And then I'll just do the other leg. See?
Might have been Ninky Splodge.
Right.
I mean, it might have been, particularly given you seem to be so keen
Rage
to try and
belt.
show it off.
All right, so here's the thing. And I'm sorry to tell you this. Not my child, but it is the child of a dead man. Somebody who looked very much like me.
No.
Yes? Well, I say very much like me. Almost identical to me. Actually, no, entirely identical to me, but not me.
Yeah, I think I might require a pretty good, convincing, charming test for this one. I'm not entirely convinced this sounds at all right. Although Ronald's honor will play into this one, I'm innocent.
Is this stressed or not stressed?
Pretty stressed.
Okay.
If I'm being honest. With Ronald's honor, you can reverse it.
Right, 5 successes then.
Oh, superb. And she goes, well, let's say that I accept that what you're saying is at all likely. I have some questions. Firstly, well, who the fuck is it then?
That actually is a good question, because it's definitely not me, so I'm not the father, just so we can establish that.
Oh, shit.
So
She says, just breaking any facade of looking noble.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you mean? No. This has to be a young Freud.
Well, it can still be a young Freud. It
Well,
is my
no, I mean by
brother's.
blood.
Why does it have to be by blood?
There's a ritual that my family does, and it determines purity of blood. It's because of the many difficulties that we have had in our past. We have had many pretenders to the trot.
Okay.
It will have trot blood, but it will not show as... Shit! You certain it's not yours?
Yes.
Well, this was how I was going to... That's why I married him in the bloody first place.
Well, I think you married him because your father wanted you to marry him.
No, I married him because I was carrying your child.
Not my child. But, okay, all right. What a strange thing to do with the blood thing.
Shit. It's a rather ancient thing. Trots have done it for centuries.
Okay. The other thing to be aware of then, if that is the case...
You're trying to tell me that... No, listen. You promised me, hand on heart, as Verena is your witness, as your mother suffers, that you do not believe yourself to be the father.
Correct. All oaths undertaken based on what you've asked.
Oh, my father is going to kill me.
He wouldn't. Why would he do that? The other thing to be aware of as well...
There's going to be a divorce.
Well, that's not the end of the world.
Oh, yes, it will be for you. They'll crush you. Without the trots, you fall. That's it.
Okay.
Are you certain it's not your child?
Yes. Very, very much so. What about...
This was a very difficult alliance to create. If it hadn't been for my father and your father's history, I'm very pleased with this. I'm very pleased with this has landed. This, what a mess.
So how long have you got before they do this trial, this blood thing?
Well, they'll be bringing some of the blood thing down. Whenever my father next arrives here, he'll probably bring some. It'll be the first step. But then eventually we'll have to go to Tame itself. There's a ritual that has to be done there, but it will be determined the next time I see my father.
Right. Okay.
And it's done almost as a pointless ceremony. No one, everybody knows. He knows why I organised the marriage in the first place. It was perfect. It aligned with his preferences.
Well, what about...
The fact that it's been disrupted is...
What about...
They'll kill the baby. I will not let them kill my baby. I will not let them kill my baby.
Has he displayed any strange tendencies? Any strange birthmarks or
Are you saying that to, you're saying that to her? Sorry.
to
Sorry,
her?
No, not at all.
No, nothing.
No, he's been marvellous. He's a lovely chap.
Right.
Even quiet.
Good temperament.
Yeah.
Right. Number of fingers and toes.
Yes. If there wasn't, there would have been issues.
Well, yes, exactly. All right. Fine. That's a bullet dodged. If that is the case, and it should be an issue, why don't you...
I could get pregnant again.
And how would that help the situation?
If I'm pregnant, I can't travel.
So you would not be able to go back to Tame.
Exactly.
That does just move the...
If I'm actually pregnant, the ritual doesn't even work, to tell the truth. If I'm pregnant, I could be pregnant. I'd delay it for a while. But if I was pregnant, then I would... Do you fancy impregnating me, do you? That does not look like a positive endorsement to that plan.
Is the option... Well, I don't think you have. I don't think we've discovered all the options yet. If that is the case, from what you're saying, what about just running away?
Why do you run?
Well, I'm leaving. You could come with us. Bring the child.
They would chase me down.
You're quite smart. You got out of the castle yourself the other day. You met us on the road, surely. Personal guard. Maybe you move to.
You realise what your brother would do to try and find his child?
Yes, he's not the brightest spark or sharpest dagger, but he will be quite.
Not an option.
All right. What about? But surely he knows if that's the case. If
Oh, he knows. He doesn't know who the father is. He doesn't care. Truth be told.
Did you tell? Does he think it's me?
Yeah.
He thinks it's me.
Yeah. That's why he's happy with the marriage, because there'll still be a young Freud.
Oh my God, this family and my family.
It was a way of resolving the embarrassment, because when the child was born, its bloodline would be known by my father.
Yes, okay, so.
And I believed the bloodline was yours, which means it was going to come out anyway, which means my father would move against your father. As far as my family is concerned, no woman can ever give consent. It would always be the man's fault, whichever particular child ensued. And they would hunt down your father and you. So this neatly tied everything up. It doesn't give individuals. It would just simply be a young Freud. It's not particularly exact. But it's not going to be a young Freud. Which means divorce.
Okay. And then that alliance is over.
Yes. Shit.
Okay. All right. Fine. If that is the case,
Shit. Well, I suppose it's better knowing than not.
All right. No, here you go. So let's, for lack of a better term, all right, let's try this again then, shall we? So I'll stand up, do a bit of a bow.
He raises an eyebrow and looks at you.
Extend out the hand.
Smiles and says, "What are you doing?"
Well, I suppose I am saving a child, or attempting to. And my name is Gerhardt of House Youngfreud.
She says, "I am Greta, also of House Youngfreud." Now.
Oh, that makes it weird.
She says, "I am your sister."
That also makes it weird.
I know.
Right, don't go, just rewind, go back, just be in...
What are you suggesting? Sit down, stop being an idiot.
I'm not being an idiot.
Sit down,
I'm trying to fix it.
Sit down and talk it out.
My suggestion is, if the way to save your child, and this child, is to theoretically get you pregnant with a legitimate young Freud heir...
Your brother, if he finds out. He's going to find out.
Well, he will find out, because there'll be a child. But do you think he'll be dead within 6 months, 9 months, whatever it is?
Probably.
All right, so it's not that much of a problem.
He's not certain, though.
And what, that he will be dead?
Yes. He's your brother. He may be a bit slow, but he is surprisingly capable.
Well, so either...
I will admit, when we were on the road, I was joking. I thought you...
No, I did not know who you were. And you just thought it was a bit weird. I just thought you were being strange. I just woken up.
I was just playing a joke, really. I didn't know... Oh, this is so embarrassing and also awful. You can't just patch it up. Look, I'm not sure I could.
Well, no offense, but it's not really my choice.
No, it's not my choice either. I mean, you're pretty enough, but... Oh, God, I don't want to think of this, she says. But
that's that's the only option that we have, then, if it is, or your only option.
Your father's no use.
Well, he probably is quite
No,
useful.
he won't. He takes his allegiance to my father particularly seriously. He's aware of the issue.
Right.
He thinks the sign is yours. He had to know. He wasn't willing to accept someone as his own bloodline.
All these people.
He knows that his son is impotent.
God, this poor lad.
Everyone's talking about him.
You're an idiot and your cock don't work.
And you're just going to die. Sigismund the Younger, you idiot.
Poor chap.
Yeah.
All right, well, what do you suggest doing?
I actually don't know. I thought I had everything fixed. I was feeling quite comfortable. Everything seemed fine. Only Absalom was causing trouble.
Do you not get on with your brother?
I hate him.
That wasn't just a part of the game.
No, I hate him.
Actually hate him.
I hate him. You know, father was so disappointed with him that he locked him in a cage with dogs when he was younger.
What the?
He tore one of them out, their throats, with his own teeth. He actually took a certain level of pride living in his little cage. My father quite grew bored with that and took him out again. The man's an actual monster. He's been trying to get up here. He's tried to rape me 3 times. Father saved me the 2nd time. I stabbed him the 1st time.
All right.
And I know that might sound somewhat nonchalant, but when it comes to my brother, any atrocity, you just get used to it.
Yes, no, I've seen a few of those.
My father, I respect. My brother, well, we kill our brothers.
So what do you want to do?
Kill my brother?
Well, very obvious. But what else?
Another alternative would be to wipe out the rest of my family line. Then I'd inherit and we no longer have an issue.
So your father and your brother?
I don't think that's happening. I also have a sister.
And your sister?
Yeah.
Could she help?
No. My sister's worse. Worse than my brother.
What's your sister's name? Just to keep an eye out.
Damn it! I've forgotten it. I will bring it back to you. I apologise for forgetting it to all you folks out there. I can't believe I forgot the
J.
No, it's not a J. I believe it's an H, but I can't recall what it is. I'll bring it out later and I'll give you the name.
Holger.
It's an odd name, like Heroldis or something random like that. I've forgotten it.
Okay, fine.
When I was building the Trot family line. But yes, there's a sister, lesser known sister, and
well, she sounds awful then, if that's the case.
She's Absalom's master, really.
Oh God!
She was the one that was responsible for looking after him when he was in the Hound's pit. He was given to her as a pet.
This is why I'd say things like this family are absolutely bananas.
Oh, they are. They're all of them. But at the same time, why do you think we kill our brothers?
Oh, clearly. All right. I've got to. I don't know what to do then.
It's not your problem. She says it's not your problem.
Are you sure?
It's my problem. Yes, I'm sure. It's not your problem. I tried to fix it one way because you've told the truth. You've done everything that you can. Your honour's intact. And you were more honourable than most. You offered a solution that I don't think is acceptable.
Okay, fair enough.
I thank you for that offer, and I will remember it.
Right.
So he's not even your nephew or son?
No, just a child.
There's no relation to anyone here.
What?
I'm in so much trouble.
How about this one, just as a solution?
Yes.
It may work, it may not, and it might be one that you cannot take on board. Why not leave him to, like as a foundling? You can leave foundlings, right? That's the thing.
I will not abandon my child.
Well, no, you're not abandoning him. You'll be able to see where you'll know where he is.
No, he's my boy. I will not be leaving my child anywhere. He is my boy.
All right.
And I will kill anyone that gets between me and my son.
Okay. Fine.
I accept that you might think that that's an acceptable solution, but I would posit to you that when you become a father, you might not think the same thing. Thank you. You have been more than kind. A solution will present itself. It always does.
Okay.
I have time. As long as my father doesn't turn up, I have time.
Would it just be your father that needs to be stalled?
Probably yes.
Or stopped?
Probably yes, unless he sends someone else to... But he won't. Eventually I'll be summoned to go to Tame, but the situation here is difficult. It's febrile. There is no chance that we're going to be hiking it halfway across the Reichland just to do some ancient family ritual. They would prefer to do it, but they're not going to do it until it has to be done. And until the armies move, I imagine that's fine. But my father comes down and does that. That's it. It's all over. Which means I probably have weeks at most. That's more than enough time. I'll come up with something.
Okay.
Thank you. You are an honourable man. People
Yes.
might not say that to you, but you are.
Okay. Well, good luck then, I suppose.
Good day, she says. She comes forward, she shakes you by the hand.
Oh,
She
nice.
gives you a peck on the cheek, says thank you, and pops off.
I'll stay in the solarium for a little bit and feel shit about the fact that I might have just fucked that up. Okay.
The only other thing on the agenda is the arrival of the gruesome twosome, your good old advisor and your potential mentor.
Yeah, they turn up?
No.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Come day 5, everything is beginning to become more worrisome. Now scouts are out specifically looking for them. Calls have come out around. There's been shouts put around the various villages, camps, towers, but no, nothing. You're growing concerned. Everybody back in Ubersreik on your barge knows that you could take any length of time because you're not actually under your own control. When you get up here, your father could just hold you. And they were all under the assumption that if you lasted for more than 2 or 3 weeks, they would probably come up and try and find you.
Right, okay.
So you've got time on your side. You were just hoping for sooner rather than later.
Fine. All right, I think I'm just going to wait then if that's the case.
Yeah.
Um,
Day 8. Word.
oh, phew.
After 1 week, word comes, as Brynn says, guess what?
Brynn, it better be good news. I am not feeling in a good mood.
I am not here for my daily game of stones.
Right.
Says, I'm here to tell you we found your people.
Oh, good. Excellent. Thank you, Brynn. Perfect. Where were they? Are they okay?
They are. One was wounded.
What?
One was wounded. They got caught up in a skirmish with
Who?
some bandits. They were captured. The fellow, Lucas is his name?
Oh, no. What? Say.
He's lost an eye, 3 arms.
Is he okay? Is he okay?
According to word that's returned, that he is all right. He's been treated by the physician.
Okay, good.
And
oh, yeah, doctor with him.
he was going to be ransomed. The doctor proved to be very useful to the bandits and is responsible for them getting away.
Makes sense.
Apparently one of them had some sort of infection on their foot, and she got in the tent with him and rammed a dagger through his eye.
Right.
And then spirited away Lucas with her.
Wow.
I thought that was quite the story. I'm quite looking forward to meeting her.
Yes, she's
It was quite unexpected.
formidable. Bloody hell. Okay.
That's what I thought as
All
well.
right.
Bloody hell. Who is this woman?
Yes,
I
no,
should
very much so.
definitely like to meet her. So, apparently she was all perfect, and suddenly, somewhat graphic in the telling of the tale, the scout that came back was laughing about the whole affair. Said could hardly believe it, given how unassuming the woman was.
No, very much.
So they should hopefully be here with us tomorrow.
Right, good stuff. Excellent. Okay.
So now we'll hear Daily Game of Stones.
Yes. How is it? Just to check, everything is packed, ready to go. Should it be
Everything's
to?
ready.
Yes.
Nothing you need to worry
Horses.
about. Settle down.
Right. Good. Good.
Sit
good,
down.
good,
Let's
good.
play stones.
Okay. Let's play stones.
So you play your Daily Game of Stones. And you lose again.
Oh,
He's
come
actually
on now.
really very good at stones.
What stones? Is it marbles or chess?
It's a similar game to say chess or Go. It's like a cross between the pair.
Oh, I hate Go. I'm good at chess, but I'm not a fan of
It's
Go.
like a mixture of the two, where you've got little stones and larger stones, and that's it. Just two types of piece that you move across the board and do captures and takes and positional things, and stones can come back for different reasons. You lose. He's actually really good at stones. It's one of the reasons you like playing him. Because you're super smart.
Yeah, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yes.
If I'm doing this every day.
Yes.
For however many days that I'm here, could I attempt to learn something out the back of this? Just like you've mentioned law battle, right? I mean, from my understanding,
law warfare is generally how it's laid down.
All right, fine. From my understanding, that is very much the idea of tactics and moving things around.
Law is used for all the tactical battle stuff.
Could I attempt to learn it off the back of this?
Off the back of this, no. But off the back of wanting to know it and picking up some books while you're here and studying it, yes.
Okay.
And what we can do is, we're here for a good week. And as you know what we did with Elric's, if you've watched it already, we did ourselves a little endeavour. Now, you might not know about the Endeavour rules.
I do not know
Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay has got itself a lovely little between sessions set of rules for handling downtime. A random event alongside a bunch of endeavours. Endeavours are things that you can do each week. A maximum of 3 endeavours and a point of downtime. And one of the endeavours is learn a skill.
I'd like to do that, please, Andy.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Yeah.
Lore Warfare, which is probably outside your skill tree if you filled up all the lores in your skill in your career already.
Yes, I would have done.
I think you almost certainly have done. When it's out of skill, it means it costs you double XP.
It costs me XP, does it?
Yeah, but you're, if you do the necessary endeavour, it'll just be normal XP.
Okay, all right.
Which is nice.
Now, I think, based upon... Because we're filming this after we've done a session, so...
No, we're in the right place, exactly.
Timeline-wise, I don't think I have XP in the...
It's okay, you've got the XP setting, and I'll let you learn it when you've got the XP.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, don't worry about it.
All right.
I will let that go. So first things first, I need to pull out the good old Endeavour rules, which I've got right here.
Lovely.
And I'm going to do exactly the same as I did when I was in Elric Stream and go, I totally remember these rules even though I wrote them. Do not remember these rules at all, particularly because I've been working my way through changing them. So, expending XP, money, blah, blah, blah. You can learn, we're up to a talent, big cities. Once you have a tutor, we've got the books, we've got all the rest, and the people who are here. You don't need to pay the fee because of everyone that you're here. Attempt yourself a hard test using the characteristic or skill most relevant to that is for a talent. I'm just going for the skills. It's not unusual learning, it's training. Whatever, it's going to be out of career one. Here it is. Normal XP. You can do that one. We've got a tutor. We'll just do it for 100 XP per one. I'm sure there's a special rule, and everyone at home who knows the rule better than me at the moment is screaming.
So do I need to roll? Or?
No, you don't need to roll because it's a skill. So you can just mark it down up to 5 advances.
Up to 5, but
yes.
It must be 5 handy. Okay, I think I've got...
5 advances will be what? It's only like times 15, isn't it, for the first chunk? So that'll be, what, 75 XP to get 5 advances?
Oh, just because I'm in the right situation.
Yeah, you've got everything that I'm laid out. Oh. So that's what your endeavour is used on. You can also do endeavours to get extra money, to do a whole bunch of other stuff. So you're using this one to get access to a skill you wouldn't normally get access to.
Then yes, I will.
Good. And then we do a second one where we do a random event to see what sort of stuff is happening in the background while you're doing this.
Okay, fair enough.
It could be disease. It could be nightmares. It could be demons popping up from the depths of the world to... do horrible things to you. Now, much as I said on Elric Stream, we have a bunch of special endeavours.
I'm sorry, did you just say demons popping up from a...
Yeah, well, let's see what we roll. We're just going to be using the neat one, so just roll yourself a D100 and let's see what we get. It could be something nice and easy, like just inclement weather.
5.
Oh, so 5. An arcane auction.
That sounds really funny. Cool. What's that?
The belongings of a recently deceased neighbour are auctioned, or someone here, a dusty old book of unknown origin is being made available. If you have 10 gold crowns, the asking price, the book is yours. Beyond any other advantage the book may bring as determined by the GM and by the gods. The GM will drop all manner of shit on this one because he's me. Any academic character attempting a research lore endeavour gains plus 20 on that particular test as well. So, have you got 10 gold crowns?
I imagine so. I'm in my hometown, right?
If...
Yeah.
you buy it using that, you won't get any extra funds from your father on your way out. So you'll be swapping out for a book of awesome.
Yes, Book of Awesome, please.
Oh, a good use of an endeavour and a random roll. Okay, so you've got that. We'll worry about the exact details for that later.
Magic book!
Magic book! As you're trawling through the streets of Newfoundland in disguise with a hood up.
Amazing.
And you get a whole host of extra funds that you've been told you can use to go out and do it, and you spend it on magic beans. Here's my cow. Give me the magic beans.
I could not be more happy though. That's amazing.
Super.
So that magic book will give me plus 20 to the law that's associated with it.
No, it won't. I'll explain it all later.
All right, fine.
So we can get it in place, but it's going to have some significant advantages. Your own little special magic book to read.
Magic book, baby.
I'm not a dick. I won't make it super evil. Because that would just
It can be evil, can it?
It can be anything, as the GM decides.
Okay, all right.
Who knows what it is? It's a magic book.
I've spent 10 gold crowns on it. £1,000 book.
That's like a 2,400 quid book. Nicely spent. Picked up at auction.
Yeah, love it.
So there's a scene for him sitting there buying the book at auction.
Gone to the gentleman with the overly large hood.
Thank you, kind sir. I shall go get my book now.
Amazing. I know things and I got a book. I'm so happy.
The end of that week.
Oh.
Hello, sir.
Lucas. Oh,
God. He doesn't even knock. He just walks through the door. Thought I'd surprise you by his coming through the door. Pardon for being rude.
No, are you okay?
He's holding on to his side. He has a big bandage sticking around his neck there. Pardon, a bit winded coming up the stairs.
No, it makes sense. What happened?
Bandits, sir. They apparently gather around the bridge down there where everybody crosses.
Right.
And anything that looks weak, they just attack, and they happen to attack us because there's only two of us.
Okay, sure.
The second they found out that, of course, that she was a doctor, they decided that, well, you know, doctors are useful, so they kept her. Little did they realise the mistake that they were making.
Yes, I heard.
They heard my accent and they were all like, oh, well, we'll be ransoming this one. And I was like, yes, of course, I will get a very large ransom. Gold will be tumbling from the skies, just to ensure that I lasted a little bit longer.
Sure, that makes sense, yes.
Well, as it turned out, the bandit leader, he was a fellow, very large, he happened to have a rotten foot.
Yes.
Actual rotten foot.
That's
and she'd been treating
disgusting.
it twice. And on this third time, having already gained his, let us say his trust.
Yes.
She went over him, said that she would help him with some dental issues. He opened up his mouth, and as it turns out, she just stabbed a knife right through the top of his palate and out of his eye.
Bloody hell.
And then back in and back out again. Died almost on the spot. She was quite calm about it when she told me. She was like, no, I plunged it right through his brain. There's no chance that he'll be getting back up. Don't worry about it. And I said, isn't there some sort of oath that you take as a doctor? You know, to do no harm or something like that? And you know what her reply was?
No.
I'm not in the cult of Shalia.
Right, no, that is fair.
He would have done us all manner of harm. You know, he actually propositioned me to be his wife. What sort of nonsense is that? And I said, well, that's clearly nonsense. Right, so that was that. We escaped in the night and happened to meet up with what we thought were further bandits. Turns out they were trot soldiers.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, they were most charitable. When we said that we had to make our way up, they were all like, well, if that's true, let's find out. Within 2 hours, scouts that had been sent from Newfoundland Castle, sir.
Oh, right.
They met up and they said, yes, these are the people we're looking for. There was a great time. We settled down for the evening with both. Drinks were spared around. They went hunting after the bandits, shooed them away, gave the trot something to kill. They were very happy about that. Yes. They came back with trophies aplenty, many gruesome heads, sir. Gruesome heads. Right. We're coming back holding them, laughing like that. I must admit, I went off to be a bit sick. And then we were up here. It was marvellous.
Lucas, it sounds like the adventure that you had was...
I'm exhausted.
Yes, I can imagine. Have you spoken to my father, or did you come here straight away?
No, I heard, apparently I have to talk to him. I've already been told by a fellow called Brynn.
Yes, good man.
Is he a good man?
He is a good man.
He seemed to be a good man. He has a very impressive beard.
Very much so. And Dr. Flaster?
Dr. Flaster. She is currently sitting down in the inn, attending to somebody who has paid her a large amount of coin to resolve some sort of bunion.
Right, okay. Probably around 10 gold coins by any chance?
I really doubt it, and it'll be her money. So not yours.
No, fair enough.
You can't really be pressed.
Just got to
coin
check
here,
the
are
expenses.
you?
No.
Do I have to do a raid?
No, it's okay. Lucas,
Are you certain? I can do a raid if you
don't do a raid.
I mean, it's your stuff anyway.
I know it's my stuff anyway, but it's fine.
I think it's traditional, don't you think?
All right, we can do a raid.
Let's do a raid.
We'll do it on the way out.
But not until we leave.
No,
I shall be circumspect. I shall go scout it out until I'm needed.
Okay, excellent. And also we will be leaving on horses. How are you as riding?
I'm fine, sir.
Right, okay, good, excellent.
Can we keep it slow?
Yes, no, it's fine. Leisurely until required.
Good. They offered me a horse, but fortunately I got a cart on the way up.
Good. And we can sell those as well. We can sell the horses when we get back to the barge.
Perfect, actually. Horses are very expensive.
Are they?
Yes, my lord.
Oh, right.
Yes, my lord. I'll deal with that part.
Good stuff. Excellent. Good man.
There's, I believe, a good slaughterhouse in Ubersreik. I've been speaking to the bandits.
A slaughterhouse?
Yeah, very good slaughterhouse. You can. They make good money on horse flesh. It might be better than selling it as an actual horse because nobody looks there. Nobody goes to the slaughterhouses and asks questions.
Yes, no, that's fair enough. That makes sense.
You get less coin, but you also get a great deal of anonymity.
Oh, poor horsies. All right. That's me saying it, not...
Perhaps don't name them.
No, good idea.
They probably have names already. I shall try to ensure that the names, when they are told to me, do not reach your delicate ears.
Excellent. All right. So let's prepare you for the conversation with my father, shall we?
Right, yes. I can't say I'm looking forward to this part. Should I be truthful? Should I not be truthful? How do you wish me to proceed?
No, you can tell the truth.
Right. Am I heading for a difficult time or an easy time?
Can't honestly tell you.
Right. I understand.
But Lucas, just be yourself. I think you'll come off well.
I'm not very good at being anyone else, my lord.
Well, exactly.
If I'm honest.
Exactly.
If you don't mind, I should like to retire to my chamber.
No,
and,
feel free.
Have a little sleep.
Yep.
And when the call comes, I presume that they're going to be supplying me with some sort of garb or something?
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Apparently it's essential, so I shall speak to him.
Yes. Could you do me a favour? Just check his, how he holds himself.
Do you not trust him, man?
Something my father said, that basically there are spies everywhere, and he is relatively new. Admittedly new because of an assassination attempt, but...
on that, my lord, one of the soldiers we were with is quite clearly an Ubersreik spy.
An Ubersreik spy?
Yes, comes from... I'm not this... Well, that's Ubersreik.
An Altdorfian
yes,
from Ubersreik.
Quite clearly.
Okay, good.
Quite
well,
clearly.
Exactly. So you can spot them. So just check this.
I can't spot them. It's just this one was an idiot.
Oh, right.
So fortunately, surrounded by idiots, so nobody had really spotted them amongst the ranks.
You don't get told much on the ranks anyway. You just know where you're going, all that sort of thing.
Quite.
It's a little. He's been fetching me things and has asked for forwarding addresses. So that's why I was a bit.
Oh no, we don't want to be doing that, my lord.
No, exactly. So just see the measure of the man.
I shall be frightfully kind to him. I'm very nice and butter him up a little bit to see if he.
Yes.
Perhaps have a drink with him. How old is he?
Old. That's all I can say, really.
Perhaps he won't be up for a drink. I'll find out.
Lucas has got etiquette servants.
Excellent.
So he'll be able to do a bit of chatty that way.
You can roll for Lucas.
Oh, I can. It's either really good or bloody terrible. Lucas, where are you? Lucas, we love you.
I'd like this to be an intuition test. So, not necessarily something he's great at.
Oh, it's going to be a fail then if that's the case. He has got his own
luck, so he
I'll
can re-roll.
do that then. Oh, this might be all right. Intuition, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, 5 successes.
Oh, superb.
Just
much
as well.
better. The fails I have on this side. Let's round up this particular part here with Lucas's summary of the seneschal. No doubt at all. His inflections are fake. He was not educated in Altdorf University, as he claims. We had a marvellous discussion, and he had got too many of the details wrong. I would guess he was from... I would honestly guess he was from Talabekland, actually. Talabheim. He'd been, I think, educated there. It's just the tones. It's just a little bit too much roticity in his R's.
Right.
And the way he's pronouncing things. I think so. I would suggest that he's lying about himself.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean he's a spy.
No, but good to know.
I think he is.
So what we'll do is when we give him forwarding addresses, we will send them to places where we won't be.
Marvellous. Then perhaps somewhere that's believable, but perhaps tame.
Exactly. Believable but unbelievable.
Because I hear they really treat spies badly in tame.
Right. Good idea.
It would be interesting to know. Might be worth passing that information over to our Trot allies, if that's a possibility. Perhaps I should say that to your father.
Yes.
I shall do that.
Just because that will prove your worth immediately as well.
And also ask him about the Central in general. That does hopefully help.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so...
I'll have to check over all our gear again as well.
Pardon?
I'll have to check over all the gear that we've been given.
Yeah. I've been given these. He is dressed in full young Freud.
Garb, yes. Very good.
Which I take as a very good sign.
Certainly.
I've not even seen him yet. And they have given me rather well-fitting, might I say. There is obviously the stags. It's a bit of a giveaway.
Yes.
Not the sort of thing that one could wear on the road, but I feel rather good.
Good. Excellent.
Let's hope that I get paid. And he turns back, because I better get paid.
No, understandable.
And really, Gerhardt, he says, they're dropping my lord and everything. I better get paid. I have children, mewling children in the nest. Pardon me, it's been a stressful week. My lord. And off he goes. By comparison, Dr. Flaster. I'm very glad to see that you are well.
Yes, fine. I hear you have been, well, a bastion, a rock for Lucas and saviour of the day.
Yes, you could say that. We got away, that's what matters. It was an unfortunate outcome, but a necessary one.
Well done. Not that you need the praise, but well done.
Thank you, she says. I'm about to meet your father.
Yes, good luck with that. He
will be employing me.
Right, undoubtedly.
Yes. He looks at you. You look better.
Nothing that a bath and a few days spent doing things.
That. Oh. That's good, because you were distracted when we had the last lesson. Perhaps you can concentrate better now?
I will certainly try.
Good. Let's see what your father has to say. Lucas has something to say about what your father has to say. He gave me a proper bollocking. He says...
What?
Give me a proper bollocking. No other way of putting it. I'm actually quite distressed. Shouted at me.
Really?
Like it was my fault that you were the way you are.
Oh. Yes. Yeah, sorry about that. That might be my fault.
Really?
Yes. But
distressed.
Did he pay you?
Oh, yes, absolutely, everything.
Then he approves.
Good. So I mean you employ, officially.
Yes, officially. Well done.
I have money. I've organised how the stipend is going to be paid up through to my family.
Excellent.
So, says, do you require any advice, my lord?
Currently, no, actually.
Easiest job I've ever taken. He laughs.
Are you sure?
It's been a walk in the park as he scrubs at his eye.
Yeah. His missing eyeball. Well, that's good. Lucas, I actually have a gift for you here, if that's the case.
Oh, my lord.
No, it's quite all right. It's nothing, a little something. Pull out case, which I presume has been brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Open it up and turn it around to him.
What is it?
It's a pistol.
For me, my lord.
For you, yes, very much so. Now, I know you might be a little, lose the depth perception, but it's yours.
My lord.
So you have a cane, you have an eye patch, pistol, excellent clothing, just a small appreciation, and obviously, hopefully, it will stop any of the bandits, at least scare them off,
A crack in the sky.
Exactly.
That's actually quite exciting. Takes it out. It has the necessary strapping. Is there a name for the strapping? He says, it's belts, or is it?
Oh, bandoliers, I believe.
Bandoliers.
Bandoliers.
That sounds exciting.
Yes, very much so. Roguish. Looks good.
Roguish. I'm the last person to ever be roguish, my lord.
Well, still.
He says, as he steps on, fumbles with it.
Well, Lucas actually has the marksmanship skill. Or talent, I should say. on his character sheet, and that's what I spent all of the XP that he had on buffing that up. So he's taken that 3 times now, so he's actually good with a gun.
Love it.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need to squint with one eye
Exactly.
to aim.
Exactly.
Thank you, my lord. I very much appreciate that. Right, well, I think I am ready to go if you are.
I didn't get anything for Dr. Flaster. Do you think she'll be irked?
I don't think anything could irk that woman beyond everyone's existence.
Yes, true. Base level grumpy.
Yes.
Yes. All right. No, well, that's everything. Provided
Please
that...
have charm test.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Good. Stressful, no stress?
No. Just you're happily speaking.
6 successes.
Between you and me, he says, I find it very hard to say no to her.
Right.
And I've got a wife.
Oh, I see.
I'm just
You were worried about this when we left the boat. Yes?
She was quite insistent when we were on the road and
Right.
And it happened, and
Oh,
I don't
Lucas.
regret it, but I feel I have to tell someone, lest I accidentally tell someone I shouldn't. And
Right.
I'm now not sure if I don't regret it.
Are you?
But it happened.
Well, no, that's fine. Are you comfortable with her being my tutor?
Oh, absolutely.
Are you sure? I can
I
get
mean-
another one.
No. I think she'll be very good for you, my lord.
Right. Is it going to be good for you? It's happened now already.
Might happen again.
Lucas. No. Once is a mistake. Twice is something
Yes, I know.
more.
I know. I know. We were captured by bandits. I thought we were going to die.
Fine.
It was,
Understandable.
I think, from her perspective, a very fine angle to take, in that it was quite convincing.
Right. Yes. Okay, good.
I was in a cage.
What?
Oh, did I not mention the cage?
No.
Oh, no, it's in a cage. Dug pit cage, actually.
Okay.
There was all sorts of worms and horrible things down there,
Ugh.
rats and bones.
And you did the deed in the cage?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, Lucas.
I know. It's not exactly the noblest of surroundings,
No.
was it?
If
But-
anything, actually, that's more pleasing.
As she put it, she said, we were very likely to be dead the next day, so we were as well
Right.
to take what joy we could in the moments that we had. And I thought, you know what?
Yes, fair
You
enough.
know what? I've been through too much.
Yes. All right.
I just have. I've been through too much. And there was no way I was going to say no to that. And then she secured me a rather nice tent.
Oh, right. Well done.
Yes, well, because of her doctoring skills, apparently. And they thought that I was worth it. By comparison, Dr. Flaster. I have been charged to ensure that you get your doctorate,
Right. Good.
which I can do, she says. I've been doing some thinking about the credits that you will already have at Altdorf University.
Mm-hmm.
I can teach there. I can teach on the road also. So we'll need to return to Altdorf at some part.
Right. Oh,
Um,
God. Okay.
But when we do so, assuming that you study well and do everything that you should do, I'm quite convinced that we can make this work.
Mm-hmm.
Your father has paid for 2 years' employment.
2 years?
Yes.
Well, you must have done very well.
He thought it was wise to shout at me. I advised him it was not.
Oh, you actually did advise him that it was not?
Yes.
And he did not shout at you?
He didn't like it to begin with.
You are a remarkable woman, Dr. Faster.
As is your father. As is Lucas.
Yes.
As you will be too.
Right. Okay. About Lucas.
Thanks. Pardon?
About Lucas.
Yes.
Maybe he is married. Just as a.
Oh, are you a prude?
No.
Then what's your problem?
Well, just.
He's a grown man. He can make his own choices.
All right. Just make sure that he doesn't feel too
You are aware
pressured.
he's a bastard.
What? That shouldn't change anything.
Well, he wouldn't even exist if it hadn't been for his father.
Oh, right. Yes, that's very true. Well, yes, but just because some people do some things doesn't mean we all have to do the other thing.
And it doesn't mean that we don't have to do anything.
True. Okay. Well, look, just be nice to him.
And she smiles. I was.
Oh, well, now.
Dr. Flaster!
Aye. All right, excellent. Well, if everything's done your end, everything is done for Lucas, then we can make a move and head back towards the barge.
She nods and she says, "Yes, I should like an extra 2 hours to organise some affairs,
No problem.
and then I'll be ready."
Right, perfect. I need to pick up some papers as well and bits.
So, with that,
Yeah.
it's a very different party that leaves Castle Newfoundland to the one that arrived.
Mm-hmm.
It was you and an elf. You were somewhat angry at that point.
Oh yeah, shit! I've got to find out a minute with. Okay.
She's out there somewhere,
Yeah,
surely.
yeah.
Oh, where has she been? But you're riding on horses.
Uh-huh.
You're dressed very well. Saddlebags filled with all manner of goodies. You could have been rich, but it's a magic book.
Magic book. I am rich.
Magic
As far as I'm concerned, that's...
Details on that one very soon.
What a win.
When... Magic book.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas, Doctor, you couldn't be better. There is a chance, an outside chance, that the journey back might get you stopped by, say, some Altdorfy nastiness, but it's not too high. We'll both roll a die.
Oh, no. Okay.
The good old dice of doom, I cocked. I've only rolled a 2, so I'm well off an 8. And did you
1.
get... Well, we're miles off.
Lovely
8.
stuff.
No doubles there.
No.
We haven't matched numbers. It is, fortunately, a smooth journey.
Okay.
You're on horses.
Ooh.
You can gallop away from any major trouble. Yes?
Did I get the orders, the custom orders that I had put in? So the cloak.
Yes.
And the leather jacks for everybody, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they are tip-top quality.
Oh, and stress ball.
And the good old bladder.
Yeah, good.
The
Excellent.
squeezy bladder.
Excellent, love that. Got a lot of time for that. Looking forward to giving that to Elric.
He's going to love it.
Yeah.
So we eventually make our way back to the barge. Now, as I recall, I think Alamenawith is back a day before you.
Oh, well done.
Elric has been here for quite some time. Leopold. Leopold is where Leopold is. That's you. I think you are last back.
Oh, right.
Which means everyone's good to go.
Excellent.
And we will finish off with one last comment. Secreted away in your hold is your sister-in-law.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. As in, do I know that? Or is that just like...
Well, that's what you discover when you come back with the child.
With the child. Wow. All right. That's
and with that bombshell for him to consider, we reach the end of our last Tales of Ubersreik, as they are getting ready to make their way off to Grisdenwald with a baby in tow.
That's so bad.
The trot. Scion, let's say, probably the most intelligent and only intelligent trot. And there definitely won't be his brother trying to find his wife, who he thinks has his child and hasn't been stolen by him.
This is perfect. I got a magic book.
It'll be fine.
Oh God. All right. Let's.